Hello everyone, welcome to the session. Am I audible?
Yes, sir. You are audible, sir. Very good morning, sir.
Good morning to everyone. I've pasted the link for the YouTube session. Okay, so this is where you will be finding it later. Okay, yes, Shreya.
Sir, I'm not able to copy the image path. Like I'm trying to copy it, but uh, the image is not coming after pasting
Copied
it.
the image path as a where exactly is the image?
Sir, it's in the screenshots, like in my files.
Hmm. So what you
And
can do is so you must be working with a single folder for all the files, right?
yes,
Just paste
sir.
your image in the same folder, and then directly you can give the image name. See, the thing is, what
Oh,
happens is, when you give a path,
mm,
generally there has to be some rendering happening. Okay, currently the
okay.
HTML files are static; they don't have that power.
Oh,
So maybe that is the reason it is not rendering. We'll see today. All right.
okay, sir. And sir, in the personal file, personal HTML file, in that we have to use five break statements, but
Hmm.
five breaks tagged.
Hmm.
But I'm able to use only four.
Why is that?
No, in
Contact us.
I think yes. In the contact us, I'm able to use only four, but we have to use five. So if I could share my screen and you could tell if where the problem is
No, see, the
there.
thing is, if you share the screen, you'll be exposing the code. So that is
Okay.
okay. See, if you can use see, the thing is, sometimes what happens, the appearance is very similar to what we see, but it's not exactly the same code, right? We
Yes,
can
sir.
achieve multiple, same page can be achieved by multiple other ways also, right? So that is
Yes,
the
sir.
reason maybe with the four break tags also you're getting the same thing, but
Yes, sir.
you'll have to use extra break tag when there is more space. Okay, so
Uh,
that you can see.
yes, sir. That's what I'm not able to find, like where to paste the fifth break tag, because I've used all the four and it's looking the same way. It should be.
Okay, just give me a minute. I'll
Okay,
try to
sir.
open the uh, this thing question statement for this thing lab assignment, and
Okay,
will
sir.
I can let me suggest you where you can add.
Sir,
This is
one more thing, sir. Are
yeah,
we
yeah.
going to take the doubts in the initial itself, or after your session we are taking the doubts, sir?
Doubt related to what?
Uh, Lab assignments.
Uh, that's okay. We can spend 5-10 minutes here to take the lab assignment doubts.
Okay. Sir, in that case, I will also raise my hand, sir.
Go ahead. Just give me a minute.
Okay, is I think I am the only person.
Okay, so this is the question statement for week 2 lab assignment. And what is the frequency for basic the contact page? You have to use 5 break tags, right? Okay, contact page. Okay, so basically you can use one here. Okay, on this line,
Yes, sir. I
one
used
here.
one here.
Okay, you might be using one more here so that you
Yes,
can
sir.
this extra line. One here and one here, so that is four.
Yes, sir.
So it's one, two, three, four,
Five.
and the five you don't need actually. Five you
Yes,
don't
sir.
need to get it into the next line, but you can see there is a
Yes, sir.
space
Double line.
to use two break tags at the end.
At the end, okay, sir.
Okay, so use one here, then two here. Okay,
Yes, sir.
then one here, and then two here.
Okay, sir.
One, two, not two exactly, one. So basically, what you have to do is this support at the rate online degree, right? One tag has to put here. Okay, now one thing is to, I just need to clarify or need to focus on is, so when you attach the external link, it was there in the same page, right? No, here it is, right? Personal page. Click here to view the online degree web page. When you attach the external link, the link has to be this only. Okay, http www.onlinedegree.iitm.ac.in. Currently, that link might not work. Okay, because we have shifted the domain, right? So the link might not work. Even if you don't see the page, it is okay, but the link has to be this only.
Sir, but it is working, sir. It came when I clicked on that. It went to that our online
Okay,
degree.iitm.ac.
then that might be a redirect. That is also possible, but and that may be an update that may have been done in the backend. I'm not really sure, but sometimes I mean I've seen students using or updating the current updated link. So that is where the loss marks. Okay, so exactly this shows you how exactly you have to follow the question statement, and okay, so any deviation might lead you to lose some marks here and there.
Sir,
Okay.
when actually it shows permission for attaching the image and the resume doc file. I have put it in the same place where all the five HTML pages are there, and when I'm trying to zip it, it says permission is not there or something like that. It is coming, sir.
So it must be something with some issue with your system. I mean system as in not the computer as such. Some setting is required. Okay,
Without
so
without the resume and image file, only the HTML files, I'm able to submit, and it accepted. It gave 90 out of 100, and it says bad.
bad code.
Yeah, bad code. Yes, sir.
Okay, so bad code is the bad code is a reflection of one or more HTML tags getting remaining unclosed. Okay, so make sure that all the tags in the HTML document that you're using are closed. All the tags that require closing are closed. All right,
Okay.
so it has nothing to do with the image. Image, maybe you can try with I mean delete the images and add another screenshots and try with that again. Okay, just some permission issue with the system. Okay, the file, some of the files might have only read only access, right? So you have to make check that if that is there. If it is only having read only access, then change that.
Okay,
Okay,
sir.
so have a look at that. Yes, Shreya, yes, go ahead.
Sir, should we save the image in JPG format or PNG format?
GPG,
Uh,
what is given, is there any specific given in the,
no, sir.
then you can decide on that. It can
Okay,
be
sir.
PNG, it can be JPG, or give me a minute. So
Sir,
if
this third
images to
line
download
images
is
to
not,
download.
hmm,
There is one link images to download. It shows comes to the last one, but this I think is in PDF, no, sir, or it is not.
hmm.
We are not able to
Yeah,
get.
so one alternative to this is you can take the screenshot of this page and crop these two images separately and then add.
So what I tried doing is we went to that our homepage of IITM, and there are two. Should we use the same images only, or any images you can use, sir?
Stick with these images only.
Oh, okay, sir. Okay.
Okay, so what you can do is take, I mean, see, even if it is PDF, it will open on the screen, right? So you can take the screenshot, it will be saved as PNG, I guess, the screenshots. And then you can, crop two images from here. The- I mean, make sure the ages and everything are coming accordingly. And then you embed those images. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Put image one and image two as their names so that it becomes easy for, if there is any compulsion on link, that also will be taken care of.
Sir, one more thing, sir. For that resume, actually, I have put it in the what do you call as I saved in Word and
That's okay. That it can be a dummy resume also.
yeah, dummy resume.
Hmm.
Where we have to have it in the file folder itself, sir. Like our same folder where we are having all the HTML
Yeah,
files.
right. See, because if that is not the case, then what will it not show error if you try to go to link and the file does not exist?
Okay.
right? So right, similar to how we are adding images in the same folder, also keep the the resume in the same folder. So all the 5 HTML documents, home, academics, personal, contact, and resume, that is with these names, right? Index, academics, personal, contact, and resume. 5 these files, 2 images and 1 resume. This should be the content of what you zip.
Zip file.
Hmm.
Okay, sir. Thank you. We'll try, sir.
Yeah, all right.
Sir, after adding the images in the same folder as which contains our HTML file, how do we paste those links in the respective HTML file?
So I'll show you. Today we'll be seeing that embedding image. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Hmm. Okay, fine. So let us come to the question statement for today's session. Basically, what we are going to do is I
Sir,
have.
1 minute.
Hmm.
Sir,
Go.
the images that you told, the image one and the image two, are they compulsory to appear in the image?
Is it given in the question statement? If it is, then it is compulsory. Otherwise, you can put any name you want.
No, sir, the images are there, no? That have image one and image two below them. So in the
Mhm.
screenshot, is it compulsory to have those?
It's better to have those. What if it is tested, right? So it's better to not deviate, right?
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Although I'm not seeing it specifically mentioned, but that is if it is there in the screenshot, why to put unnecessary name, other name? Just have the same name and you can go ahead with it. Hmm. Okay, so with that, I'll start off with today's session basically. Okay, so what we are going to do is we are going to create a simple static HTML page and we'll be trying to style it with the help of CSS. Okay, so there will be certain things which you are familiar of, certain things would be new to you. Okay, and I hope you follow along with me. Okay, so everyone should have at least VS Code ready with them or Replit. All right, so if you don't have VS Code installed, you can work on Replit. All right, so these two things have to be there. VS Code is not necessarily the only ID that you can have. You can work with Sublime Text, all right, and Notepad if you want. Okay, if you want for simplicity. The only thing is VS Code is more interactive and you can switch between the panes here and there. All right. Uh, Apart from that, if you are using Linux machine, you can go ahead with gedit. Right. So that is no issues with whatever ID we are using. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll just close this two things now. Don't need that, but you can see that I also have Replit open. So those are following on Replit. I will exactly not be coding on the Replit also, but I'll show you how to come to that interface. Okay, so we'll start off with Replit. Basically, what you have to do is you have to create a REPL. Okay, and what that REPL should be, it should be an HTML, CSS, JavaScript REPL. Okay, so HTML, CSS, JavaScript REPL should be there, and then you can name it as you want. You can keep it if whatever it is giving, if you wish. Okay, so you don't have to specifically name anything. If you wish, you can. All right, when this is done, then click on create REPL. All right, so when that is done, you can see that there will be 3 files coming. One is index.html, script.js, and style.css. Okay, we might not need script.js for today's session, so I'll be deleting it. Okay, so we'll be working only with index.html and style.css. Okay, now you can see that it has created an HTML, CSS, JavaScript REPL, making sure that the CSS file and the HTML file are linked. And how is that done? With the help of this link tag. All right, so the style.css file is an external file to this HTML. It is linked to the HTML, right? So this is a meta information to HTML, and therefore it is added in head tag. Okay, and we can also see the script.js is added. We don't have script.js, so let me remove that tag also. Okay. Zoom. Yeah, so I'm not coding here, so you don't worry for that. Okay, I'm not coding here, so don't worry about that. I'll be coding on VS Code where I'll make sure that it is visible very clearly. Okay, so you can see that this is a simple boilerplate of HTML. I think we have discussed what boilerplate is, but we'll go through it again. All right, so this is index.html, style.css. Currently, it has made sure that the height and width is 100%. That is, it takes the complete width of whatever is the viewport, all right, or whatever is the screen available. So you can see that on the right, we have this index.html getting rendered, all right. So the body only has hello world, and since it has only this content, it is getting shown on the right web view. Okay, if you want to take the feel of how it would look on browser, you can see this option right on the top right, open in a new tab. So when you click on this, it will open in a browser window. Okay, some issue with Replit always. uh, Let me check.
I joined 5 minutes late. So this meta viewport, what is that viewport?
That's what. So viewport basically is whatever screen is available where you will see. Okay, so I have not written this anything. These are all pre-default things that have come with this particular REPL. Okay, I'll be code. Okay, so I'll remove this. I'll be only coding what is important to
Okay.
understand at this point. Okay, it should open in the new tab.
Then one more thing, sir. The DocType HTML. So when we mention that one, that means it's a HTML5.
Right. So I have not come into
So
the HTML as of now. I'm just telling how to work with REPL. Okay. I'll come
okay,
to
okay,
the
okay.
come to the code. See, I'll be working on VS Code, and I haven't created anything on VS Code as of now. Right. So what is important will only be told. Okay. So it is not opening. Why is it not opening? So this is actually some REPL issue. But don't worry. You can see whatever. For example, if I write anything here.
Sir, are we like solving problems on Replit?
Sorry.
Like I just joined. I had some work,
Yeah.
so
So I mean, please wait. We'll come to that.
okay.
Okay. So, I mean, whatever you write here and whenever you run it, you'll see that it is coming here. Now, why it is coming on the same line, even if I've given a space, I'll come to that. Okay. So, this is how you will do it on Replit if you're using Replit, but we'll be working on VS Code, which is very similar. So, you can see that the file pane, the editor, and the console, what you see on the right is very similar to VS Code. The only difference will be currently it is not opening on the new tab. Okay, and if that is some issue with Replit. Okay, otherwise there is no other difference. Okay, in VS Code we'll be seeing everything on a on the Windows sorry, on the on the what we call Chrome interface or the browser's interface. Okay, so let me go to the file where I'll be creating the doing the code today. Okay, so you can see that there is Q statement MD, which is a question statement for today. It is written in Markdown file. What Markdown is, I'll show you. So what we'll do is we'll open VS Code in this folder. Okay, how do we do that? So if you see, so first what we need to do is we have to open command prompt in this particular, this particular folder. Okay, how do we do that? So you can see this. This is called as breadcrumbs. All right, or this is basically the path from where you have come to this folder. Okay, so you can click on the blank space here. Right, the moment I click on blank space, you can see that it is. I mean, generally it doesn't show. Let me give you one. All right, so when I click on this blank space, you can see that it is taking that as an address, right? G, my work, app dev, September 23, week 2, solver instructor, right? So whatever was shown in the breadcrumbs now is shown as a directory or address, right? Now this is selected. This has to be replaced with CMD. Okay, just write CMD and hit enter. So you can see that the command prompt has opened here in the same folder, right? So you can see the same, directory and folder structure. Okay, this is how you open command prompt in any folder. Okay, so if let's say if I want to open in this particular folder, I'll just go on to that. You can see that it is getting selected. This selected string has to be replaced with CMD. Hit enter and it will open command prompt there itself. Okay, so same way I've opened command prompt here. Okay, now from command prompt we'll be switching to VS Code. All right, so how do we open VS Code with command prompt? We'll simply write code. Yeah, for some reason caps lock is on. We'll write code, then space, then dot. Okay, code, is this visible? Code, space, dot. Okay, and then hit enter. Right, so you can see that the VS Code has opened in the same folder. Okay, so this is how you open VS Code in the same folder. What is an alternative to this? for those who don't know or don't want to do that, what you can do is just open VS Code. Simply open VS Code. Okay, you can see that a new VS Code has opened and no folder is open here, no project is open. Then how do you go to that project? So basically you'll go to File, Open Folder, all right, and then navigate to that part where we actually are coding or wherever your project is located, right? So it is, in my case, it is in, studies, then my work, then September 23, then week 2, then solve with instructor, week 2 SWI. So SWI stands for solve with instructor. So basically I want to open this folder, right? So what I'll do is I'll get back, whichever folder I want to open, I'll just select it, not double click it, just select it and click on select folder. So you can see that the same folder has now opened, question statement. Okay, so we have two VS codes, both showing the same thing, right? But they have been opened in a different way. Okay, so I'll close one and I'll work with this. Now, what is this Q statement? I'll just open it and show you the preview. And we will take it here, and that's all, right? So this is what is the question statement. What we're going to do is we are going to create a static wiki page on artificial intelligence. All right. So it will be a static wiki page on artificial intelligence. What exactly have to be done is we'll be using HTML and CSS to actually dump some information taken from a source and dump information on the web page. That's all we are going to do. All right. So the main focus is how do you structure that information and how do you make that look aesthetically good. All right. You're not looking into what is there at the back end. Any programmatic part to it. No, you're not looking at that at this point. We're only focusing on the functioning of HTML and CSS and how they are used. Okay, so you can see that what do we need to use in HTML? There are things like HTML elements. So I've listed out certain elements here. All right, and all these things, all these elements we'll be using. So you can also see there is image. So we'll see how images are embedded. All right, and within CSS, we will see what block and inline elements are. What is CSS box model? I think this name has been introduced in the last session. All right, borders again have been introduced. What is background? Again introduced, and what is shorthand property. All right, but now all these things will be used in context of what we're doing. All right, so it will be more generic, and I hope it will be helpful. Okay, so any queries on the question statement? Now, yeah, how are we going to bring this information? Okay, some of you might not know what artificial intelligence is, or at least the details of it, right? Nothing. We'll be going to Wikipedia and using it. Okay, Wikipedia. Okay, so we'll be basically dumping this information onto a web page, into an HTML file, and then render that HTML file, and we will try to make it aesthetically look good. That's all. Okay, so that will help us help us in understanding how to create HTML file, how to structure an HTML file, and then with the help of that structure, how do we target a particular element and style it. Okay, this is what we are going to do. Any doubt in the question statement?
Not sir.
Okay, so if you have any issues, you can also put in chat, but I'll be looking at periodically, right? I won't be looking at it as in when the query comes. I'll be, switching to the screen back and then looking at chat. Okay, but you can raise your hand and we will take doubts and queries in that way.
So you will be covering how to run the Python server from VS Code also, right?
Yeah, we can do that. Yeah, we can do that. We'll do that.
Okay.
Okay, so you don't need VS Code to run Python server. It can be done with command prompt also. Okay, even in the VS Code, I will be using a terminal only. I'll show you both the ways. But just for the simplicity, we can do it with, this thing also. What we call as command prompt. All right, anyone else raised? Yes, Hasanu?
So the project you have mentioned, basically we have to imitate that particular page on Wikipedia on artificial intelligence. Is that right, sir?
Okay, so what you're saying is? Yeah. I got it. Yeah. So the project or whatever we are going to do today is basically taking the information from Wikipedia and creating a static file of it. That's all.
Okay, sir.
So just copying and pasting that.
Yeah. Mostly I'll be copying and pasting, but I'll be only copying and pasting the content, not the HTML file.
Okay. So what about the styling, sir? So the
Styling
page.
will do by our end. We will not
Okay.
refer. We will only need this for this text. All right, this raw
That
text.
information only.
That information, this information only. The styling will do by ourselves. Okay.
Okay, sir. Yeah.
Okay. So shall we start? I hope you are also ready with your system and everything. Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. So I have this. I'll be going into the same VS Code folder. Currently, this might look very small to you. Okay, but you don't worry about that. What I'll do is I'll just open a new file or create a new file. How do we do that? The first option on the top. Okay. So the first option lets you create new files. It can be of any extension. The extension has to be provided by us. All right. So how do we do that? I'll write index.html. Okay. The moment I've written .html, it understands, okay, you're not talking about an HTML file. I hit enter and the new file is created. It might also open, right? So by default, it gets open. Okay. How do we do it in Replit? Replit also has that new file option, right? So same thing, right? So you click on new file, you give the name and the extension and the file gets created. Okay, so now this is our HTML. Now, how do you create a boilerplate? Okay, so VS Code has this good feature of creating boilerplate. You just have to write exclamation mark. Okay, so the moment you write exclamation marks, it suggests you about emmet abbreviation. This emmet abbreviation is nothing but the boilerplate of HTML. So I hit
So
enter.
what is boilerplate, sir?
This is the boilerplate, the basic structure that any HTML file will have. Okay, and then we will modify it
So
and
how do
write the code.
so how do we get this boilerplate?
I just have written question mark, and then it will automatically will suggest you. If for any reason it does not suggest, do not worry. I'll just remove things that are not important in this file. Okay, and this language English. We all know we are writing in English. Okay, so now let me go through this one by one. Okay, so basically this first doctype declaration basically tells you that, or basically tells the browser that the file that you're creating is HTML5 compatible. Okay, so this doctype declaration tells that it is HTML5 compatible file. All right, so render accordingly. All right, then
So this okay. Other if it is not HTML5, we don't need this line at all, like the previous versions.
no, we don't need to put this line. All right, and then it becomes it takes the previous versions. Which version I'm not really sure of. Okay, but here we
Okay.
have to mention, because see, HTML5 is backward compatible. So if it is there in HTML, if a file created in HTML5, it should, it should, most of the things should be supported in the previous versions also. But we'll focus on HTML5 only, because any web that you will encounter today will be HTML5 compatible. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so this is what the first line does. Then starts the actual document. Okay, so basically it starts with an HTML tag and ends with an HTML tag, right? So there is a difference between this and this, right? The forward slash within the tag states that this is an ending or closing HTML, closing tag. Okay, not specifically HTML also. So you can see the body, head, and other things, right? Within the HTML file, there are two things. One is head and one is body. All right, so whatever we are going to code should come in body, this particular body tag. All right, whatever the browser shows on its screen will come in body tag. Whatever information is useful internally to the browser to make sure the HTML file is rendered correctly will come in head tag. Okay, that is the reason the links, style, everything comes in the head tag, but the actual content, what needs to be displayed, comes in the body tag. Okay, so these are the two basic components, and that is the reason we call this particular piece as boilerplate. All right, everything and anything will start from here. All right, even the title is not required, but we can give. Okay, now this title tag basically is on the top, right? So when you open the browser, what do you see here, right? So this is what is mentioned. So you see the new tab, right? We will see when the actual document or the HTML file is rendered, and we'll see whatever we have given in the title is appearing here. Okay, somebody is on mute. Okay. All right. So this is about a boilerplate of HTML. All right. Now what we'll do is, now we'll start coding. Okay. So you can, I'll just first render this. Okay, it was done in Replit. Okay, so if I write hello world here, it should come on the browser. Okay, if I write hello world here, it will not come. Okay, because it is a part of head meta information. Yeah, go ahead. Is somebody raised hand?
Sorry, I was on mute, sir. So we use standard boilerplate. Now, like the lab assignment, we have 5 different pages, all of them having a standard features. So suppose if you want to create a boilerplate with the standard features, how do we do that?
Boilerplate is standard features meaning?
Yeah, because okay, we have 5 HTML pages we need to create for the lab assignment, right? So in that 5 HTML, there are some common elements.
Okay, yeah. So that is called as templating. We'll see that in upcoming weeks.
Okay, fine.
All right. Currently, we are only focusing on how a generic HTML file is created. Okay. Somebody else also raised
Okay.
hand. Yeah, Ritu.
So like if we have done the lab assignment, can we like maybe watch this session later? Like if similar stuff is being covered.
Depends on you. I mean,
But like
nobody.
what is being covered today? Like the stuff that we need for lab assignment only, right?
No, no, no. It is in general what you need to understand from week 2.
Okay, okay, sir.
Lab assignment. I mean, this will also help you in doing the lab assignment. But I mean, things that will be used here may or may not be the part of lab assignment. Okay. These are all 2 different things. Yeah. Yes, Durga Prasad.
Sir, how to save the files? Like I'm
Control
following this.
S.
Control S, I can't save it.
Right?
I don't know.
See, when the file is not saved, this cross will appear as a dot. Okay, let me make a change. Let's say I've written anything, okay, randomly. So you can see that it has become a dot. This means that the file is not saved. Okay, and when I do Control S, it becomes saved. Or what you can do is command
File save as is there, sir. File save.
and save. Right. So this is general setting, right? So if you want to save the file, you go to File and then Save File.
Okay.
Okay. So you see that the Control S by itself is coming. It should work.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Okay. All right.
Also
Okay.
in the
So
timeline, it is showing, sir, if it is saved, when it is saved in the properties panel,
all right.
the left side panel timeline.
Okay, fine. Okay, so now you can see that this file is saved. This means if I created a file in the same folder, worked on it and saved it, that should appear in the folder also, right? So if I open the folder, week 2 solve with instructor, you can see that the index.html file is there. Okay. Now, how do you open this file? Okay, there are multiple ways. So if I really want to open this file, you can see that the Chrome icon is coming by itself. This means that when I will open this file, it will by default open in Chrome, understanding that it is an HTML file. All right, but the way of opening this file is different. Okay, so let me just open this file. How do you open any file? Double click. Okay, so you can see that I double clicked and I can see that the hello world simply written is coming. I'll just zoom it. Okay, and what is this document? This document is basically the title. So let me go back to Vscode and see this document, right? So that document is coming with this title. All right, there is one more thing that is there, this earth symbol. Okay, so this is a default icon that will come with any file, and if you really want to change this, right, so this is called as Chrome, and then for Replit and for Wikipedia and others, this is called as favicon. Okay, favicon, favicon. All right, and we can change it whenever we want. All right, I don't need for the entire Mad1 course you'll ever need a favicon. Okay, because see, it is a default image that it gets added. Okay, so let us leave it to that. Okay, now I will write more structured document. Okay, we know that how this document is there and getting rendered. Okay, let me also show you the other way of doing it. The other way is the live server, right? I've shown live server in the last session. How do you create? I mean, how do you have live server installed? So it is one of the VS Code extensions. Okay, which is very similar to the run button in Replit. Okay, the moment you hit run button, whatever is written in the HTML gets rendered in the web view. Okay, this is web. Okay, but in VS Code, if I want to run a particular HTML file, I can directly render it using a local server that live server by itself creates. Okay, so basically what happens is live server creates a local server in the same folder. Which folder? This folder. All right, on the same folder it will create a local server, and you will also see the address and everything when I run it, and the file is run in that way. Okay, now let me show you one more thing here. So when we open this document using double click, do you see the URL tab? What does it show? It actually shows the complete address of the file. Okay, so it is opening the file like file manager. Okay, like the file manager does. Okay, currently this file is not running on any server. It is only rendered by the browser because that's what we asked to do, right? We just open the file and the URL shows that okay, it has been taken from file G my work appdev September 23 week 2, like that. All right, and index.html is running. That's all. All right, it is not running on the server. It is not getting served by the local machine. Okay, that is the so basically this is there to only render a static file. Okay, currently we are only working with static files, so it is okay. Later on when we'll have backend implications, then we will not be running the files like this. All right, we will be using servers. Okay, now what that server be? It can be anything. It can be live server. Okay, again live server will also render the static file, but again it will be rendered with the server running. Okay, then other method is the Python HTTP server, what someone mentioned here, right? So Python HTTP server will also be used to render file. Okay, but the most important server that we'll be using is Flask server. Okay, so we'll see when the Flask is introduced, and we will also show you the differences of these servers when they as and when we learn them. All right, so at this point you can see that what a lot of things are also understood from the URL. So you can see that this is not getting rendered. It is only getting not getting served on the server. It is only getting rendered by the browser. That's all right. So I'll not close it for now, or maybe okay, I'll close it and we'll see now from the live server, but let me make some changes to the file. Okay, so very quickly I'll add the content that I want to add, right? Okay, so what I'll do now is I'll create a div tag. Div tag is basically a division tag that allows you to make compartments in your pages. Okay, so any web application that you see, any web application that you see will have at least three parts, right? The top part, which has the the navigation or the nav bar as we call it, right? All the web page name, other options. It shows information whether user is logged in or not logged in, right? It gives you options to log out if you are logged in, right? And other things. So that is called as nav bar, which remains there, doesn't matter what the content is. Okay, and on the bottom, the second part is on the bottom you see footer, right, which is very similar to what you have done in your lab assignment also, right? So in the bottom you will see a footer tag which gives the the copyright information, other links, right? Things like what are other web what we call web platforms it is connected to, things like Twitter, X, Facebook. All those things will be there, and other information about the author and other things. All right, what is changing mostly with the website? The central part or the actual content of the web page. Okay, so these compartments are actually created or done with the help of this div tag. Okay, so that is what we are going to do. See, the moment I get I write div, I get an emmet abbreviation of div. All right, and if I hit enter, I'll see a div tag opening and opened and closed. All right, if that is not showing in your case, no issues, we can manually write it, right? div. Okay, Vscode shows even if I write div and hit that angle bracket by itself, it will give me the closing tag. Okay, so I can't help it at this point, it is doing it for me. All right, so div, this is how you create a div tag. All right, how many of those div tags we need? We need three sections, right? Nav, or the nav bar, or what we call the header part of the application, the actual content, and the footer. So I'll create just the three, right? Okay, now how do you, VS Code also has this idea of copying the particular line. So if I do Control D, whatever is there in that line gets copied to the next line. Okay, what you can do is Control C and Control V. Okay, if these things are only there if it doesn't work, might not work with Replit, so you can simply do copy paste, or you can create 3 div tags manually. Okay, so currently we have 3 div tags. All right, now since this is a div tag by itself, let me create a a complete compartment and then enclose all these div tag into it, right? So what I'll do is I'll create a div tag here, and I'll take it from here and put it here. Okay, this is just a designing aspect. Okay, it is not necessary, it is not compulsory to add everything in a div tag, but this is a designing aspect. What I've done is I've created a larger container and then added 3 small containers in it. Okay, why is this helpful to me? I'll show you when we style it. Okay, but there is a question that there was already a body tag. Why do we need div tag, right? It is a design aspect. You can choose to, or you can choose to ignore it. Okay, I have something in mind with respect to this tag which I'll be using for styling, so I am therefore keeping it. Okay, I'll let you know when we style it. Okay, now what I'll do is, this is a div tag, this is another div tag. So in all we are having 4 div tags. How do I identify each div tag? Okay, so this is where this is where selectors come into picture. Okay, I can uniquely identify this particular div tag with a identification called as ID. Okay, this is one of the selector, and that ID can be anything, any string that you feel like. Okay, now I will give some intuitive string, so I'll just give it as header. Okay, because this particular div contains all the header information. Similarly, I'll add a ID to this, and what will I give this? Okay, let's say this should be the content. Okay, and similarly, this ID will have footer. So I'll simply write footer. Okay, so you can see that I've now what I can do is since this tag div tag is also there. I mean, there are total 4 div tags in the document. How do I uniquely identify that particular div tag? So that for that I've given ID. Okay. Is everything clear at till this point? Any doubt?
Sir, after this ID, can we give space, sir, equal to? Or
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Because everywhere it is without space only. That's why.
Yeah, I mean that is by default, just to make it compact. But you can, all right.
Okay,
Not
sir.
one, you can give multiple spaces. Okay. Now, if I also want to uniquely identify the top level div that I've given, right? So I'll simply give it top level. Okay. That's all. Okay. This names can be anything.
Sir?
Hmm.
Sir, why are we using ID even though the div tag is used to partition the page already?
So div tag is partitioning the page, but ID is there to, ID is there to identify this div tag.
Okay,
Okay.
like
Why are
where
we
it
calling
is
it?
placed.
Sorry.
To identify where it is placed.
No. See, I mean, the actual use of IDs and this will come when we use CSS. Okay, when I go to this ID, it shows a dialog box, right? What does it say? Defines a unique identifier which must be unique in the whole document. Its purpose is to identify the element when linking using a fragment identifier, scripting, or styling. Okay, so the latest part is something that we are going to do with the help of ID. Okay, that is styling. Okay, let's say I want to add a style to this particular tag. How do I tell the document I want to style this only and not the others? Right? It's just like
Yes, sir.
a group of girls with each one of them have their own names, right? So girls by itself is okay, but which one? So their name. Okay, so that is a unique identifier.
Okay, sir.
That is the reason I've independently named everyone, and I'm added or given them an individual ID. You can see that it is I mean, you cannot have multiple or same ID to 2 different elements, right? So you can see that all 4 are different. Okay. Any other doubt? Somebody else raise hand. Am I going fast?
No, sir.
No, sir.
No, sir.
Any other doubt?
You have a good pace.
Sir, I just had a doubt. Just you have written the ID there.
Hmm.
Instead of ID, that we can replace ID with like serial number or something.
ID with serial number as in?
We can replace ID, just replace ID with serial number. Yeah.
Serial number, no, it is not a defined attribute. ID is a defined attribute.
Oh yeah, that was ID is a defined attribute.
So whichever are the defined attribute that you have to give. Can you define attributes by yourself? Yes, but not now.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
So this ID is of any use in the DOM object model?
Definitely yes. Okay, but when we'll see that very precisely when we learn JavaScript. Okay, DOM manipulation. All right. So we'll move ahead. Okay, let us focus only on the HTML as of now. All right. So in the
So I have
header
a
information,
question.
yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So this div tag divides the page in horizontal direction, right, sir? Like if I using three divs,
Hmm.
then it will make three parts of the page.
Yes,
So what
three
if I
parts.
want vertical parting, sir?
Hmm. Yeah. So
So
basically,
is there
by
any
default,
attribute like this?
right.
Hmm?
By default, the divs divide horizontally. How do you make it vertical? We
Hmm?
will see. Only the div will only be there to make it vertically, differentiated. But there will be some changes that we need to do.
Okay,
Okay.
sir.
By default, it will take a separate page like this. I mean, in the horizontal. So you will have three different
Hmm.
sections of the page, but they don't take
Hmm.
width by them. Sorry, height by themselves. Okay. It's not
Hmm.
that. I mean, let me show you. Let me just show you
Yes, sir.
one thing. Let me just save this. Okay, so I'm just showing you the simple page. It is not even rendered. So
Okay, sir.
how does div divide? They don't divide it equally unless we provide the height. Okay, I'll show you what I mean. Okay, so currently, if the assumption is this three divs will divide the page horizontally in three equal parts, that is wrong. Okay, so that will not happen. We will have to explicitly tell that okay, this
So
should
we
be
have
the
to.
hmm, yeah, we have to explicitly mention. All right, we'll move to that when we style.
So
Let me just
what would
start
be the
the document
height of
first.
the div? We have to explicitly define that, sir, right?
Yes. Okay. If there is any content, it will take the default head of that content. Okay, I'll show you. Okay, so I'll just write
Okay.
first content. Okay,
Okay, sure, sir.
my header content,
Mhm.
something like this. Header content. Okay. Then here I'll write main page. Okay. And then here I'll write footer information. Okay, so this is the content, the default content into it. Let me just save it. And now I will not open the HTML file like this. I'll open it with the help of live server. All right. Now I've shown it in the last session. Okay, so you can see that there is a go live option here. All right. The moment I click on go live option, it will start the server and start running the application on this particular uh, IP address. So you can see that now this has changed, right? Initially it was showing the content, the entire file path of this index.html, but now it is showing that it is running on the server. Okay, which is in a way safe, because if you are opening a file that way, you are releasing a lot of information as to what is the structure of your file. I mean the folder that you're there, what are the other components of the folder, right? Here we don't know that. Okay, here it only says that it is running locally on 5500 port with the name index.html. Okay, so current at this point also the file is getting rendered, but with the help of server. So this file is now getting served on the web. Okay, with the name
So,
index.
so can you show once again how you run this?
Okay, so I went to VS Code and okay, let me just close this. So when this was the state, right? So here you'll see go live. Okay, this will only come when the live server is open. Okay, so how do you add that? It is an extension. Okay, in the extensions you can go to write just live server, and it will give you yeah, the live server, right? So this is something that you have to install and maybe restart the VS Code, and you will see the go live option coming on the bottom right.
Okay, okay. Only after doing this. Okay, we can. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So this is how you do it. Now I'll go click on go live. If for any reason you're not able to download or install live server, open it with the way we have done it, right? This one, double click. Okay, that will also work. All right. So as what I said, the 3 divs will not divide the page equally, right? It is very intuitive here, right? So you can see that even if I've given 3 divs, it is taking, whatever page was there on the top only. It is not coming down. Okay. So this gives us a lot of flexibility as to what should be the width of one part, what should be the width of other, and what should be the width of the last one. Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
So, sir, in this we don't have to refresh it anytime. Like
No,
if
we
we
don't
change.
have to. Yeah. So any change you make, every save, Control S will actually refresh the page on the browser.
Okay.
Okay. So now you can see that here I've added header content. Now let me define what this header content will be, right? So here I'll write the heading on which we are working, right? Heading, that is artificial intelligence. Okay. And then we will also write a smaller subheading of it. Subheading. Okay. This is raw content. Okay. And whatever I'll write, it will get rendered there only. I need to add something here, right? I'm just saying what is to be written here. All right. Here in the main page, what we will write about its application. So you can see in the question statement what we have written. Using HTML and CSS, create a wiki page with brief introduction. Yeah, so we'll write one paragraph of introduction. What AI is, what are its application and goals. Okay, so this is taken from Wikipedia. All right, so I'll go back here into my index.html. So here we'll write application, introduction, and goals. And footer is a static part which will not change even if you are changing multiple pages. So here we'll write copyright info, right? Copyright IATM, something like that. Okay, these things will be written here. Okay. All right. So now what I'll do is I'll actually place something here, right? Now if I want to give heading, the top level heading, the most important heading of my application, that will be given with the help of H1 tag. Okay. So the moment I write H1, it suggests me with the abbreviation and I hit enter. Okay. Everything that I write in the H1 tag will appear in a different way. Let me show you how. Okay. Artificial intelligence. All right, and now I want a subheading which is not as big as H1 but slightly smaller. So how do we do that? H2. What does that mean? This means that there is an hierarchy of headings. Okay, H1, H2, H3. Right. So the largest one or the most important one has to be specified using H1, and the least important one or in the sub of subheading has to be given by H6. All right. So it starts from H1. It does not go to H10. It stops at H6. Okay. So H1 to H6. Okay. So the subheading I will give by H2. What should be the subheading? Let me refer to Wikipedia. Where is Wikipedia? Okay. Okay, so I'll write an intelligence of machine or software. Okay. Okay, let me show you how it looks. Okay, so now I don't have to keep on clicking on this. See, port will actually stop the server and go live will actually run the server. So I don't need to stop the server, right? It is already getting served, and the moment I save it, it will get updated. So I'll go to this document, and you can see that it is coming here. It is updated, right? So artificial intelligence and intelligence of machine and software. You can see the difference between these two. So artificial intelligence appear as the top level heading, and then this is the subheading. Clear? Any doubt till here? Yeah, go ahead.
Sir, H1 or H2 we are using for styling here in HTML only, or is there any other purpose for
No. We are just
adding H1?
we are just specifying we are specifying that the artificial intelligence in my document has top level heading. Okay.
Mhm.
And the other one is a subheading. That's all. Styling we can still do with CSS. Okay, this is not styling. This is just showing the HTML document, the the structuring of HTML document. That my header has two tags, H1 and H2. One of it shows the or semantically it shows the most important heading of my document, and second one shows the subheading. That's all. That is the reason. I mean, the HTML understand that it is a heading, and that is the reason H in the H1 and H2. Okay, styling will not be done by HTML, although it is possible to very minor extent, but we will not even use that. We'll only use CSS for styling. Okay, now what do I have in main content? So I'll write the introduction. Okay, application. Okay, let me also add an image for artificial intelligence, image for AI. Okay, then we will show some applications. Okay, so let us show these applications using ordered list. Okay, and then we will show some goals. Yes, and we'll show these goals with the help of unordered list. Okay, so with this way we will be using most of the components of the question statement, right? Anchors will come to that. But and yes, so most of the what we call the introduction and everything we will be done. This will be done using paragraphs. And obviously in the Wikipedia also you can see that this page, you can also see that the actual information, the textual part, the raw part is actually shown in terms of paragraphs. Okay. All right. And let us go back to this index.html. Yeah. Image will be shown by image tag. This will be shown by ordered list. I'll show you which tag, OL, UL, things like that. All right. And then we will have some external, external resources. What if whatever information I'm providing is definitely not sufficient, right? And you can see that this Wikipedia page has a lot of other information. Okay, so we will be putting links to these pages here with the help of this anchor tags here. Sorry, and external links. This will be done using A tags. You can see that most of the things that are there in the question statement have been used. Okay, let us see now everything in detail. Okay, and how do I differentiate that I'm showing introduction or I'm showing image or this with the help of headings? All right, may not be the subheading, but it can be other levels of heading. So let us do that with H3. Okay, so this is, I mean, which heading to use will come with experience. Experience as in you keep on solving, keep on creating web pages, whichever appear better, you will use that. Okay, I will use H3, but later on I'll see that, okay, H3 doesn't look that good. Maybe H4, let us go a bit smaller. Then I'll use H4. So it will come with, testing. The more you code here, the more you see the preview, whichever looks better, that will be applied. Okay, there is no certain rule that you cannot use H4 unless you use H3. That is not a rule. Okay, so I'll use H3 first. Okay, and I'll write. Let me write it in a better way. What is AI? Okay, and then the actual information I'll provide with the help of P tag. Okay, I'll show you one thing here. Is there any hand raised at this point?
Yes, one doubt, sir. So this Vscode automatically indents the tags, right? So suppose if I copy some HTML or if I messed up the indentation, how do we fix it?
You don't need to. See, actually, this also gives an option with format document, right?
Format,
okay. So when you click, when you do a right click anywhere on the document, it will give you format document. Format document.
Yeah,
right? So you can see that it has been formatted.
Yeah, that's yeah.
But indentation has no impact on HTML. Okay, so you can so you can see that the H1 and H2 are within a div, but I can still put them in the same level. Okay, and why is that possible? Because I have an ending tag, right? So I can say that if the H1 is within div and the div has not been closed, this means it is a part of div. So I don't need to worry about indentations and everything. Okay, why do we put
only for the readability? Yeah, readability.
Yes, it becomes easy to understand. Okay, I mean which part is which, right? Okay, so I'll just put paragraphs without reading them from here. Okay, so artificial intelligence is this thing. Okay, I got that. Just do it from here. Let us copy three paragraphs. Okay. I'll just copy and then I'll paste. I hope this copying is okay, right? Because no concept is being copied here, only the raw content. Because it goes somewhere else, but we will go back to our content. All right, so I'll just make some, I'll make some text, this text readable. So artificial intelligence, AI is intelligence for machine and software, as opposed to the intelligence of human and animals. Okay, now I'll put a enter.
So one doubt, sir. So when we copy the content, okay, so we are saying this document is UTF-8, right? Is there any possibility that we copy characters not included in UTF-8?
No, that won't happen. Mostly it will be UTF-8. That is the so if you see here, did you observe that when we created this document, it had that viewport and everything, and char said UTF-8, right? I have removed it. Okay, but still in the bottom, if you see, the encoding is still UTF-8.
Okay,
so encoding is by default UTF-8, so you don't have to worry about.
No, but if I copy some character, it is not in UTF-8. What is going to happen here?
It will just not show it. Okay, it will just show something else at this point, and then you will have to check. If that that particular character is really important, then you can check on it why it is like that. Then you can see the encoding and change the encoding to UTF-8.
Okay,
that will not generally happen because mostly it will be UTF-8.
Okay, thanks, sir.
I'll remove this 1 and 2 because we don't have any links to attach to it. Okay, so what I've done is I've created a p tag and I've added 3 paragraphs into it, right? 3 paragraphs into it. This means that what will I see in the rendered document now? I'll see the H3, what is AI, and then I'll see 3 paragraphs coming one below the other, right? Okay, let us save and see what happens. When I go back to the document and see, I'll see that there are no paragraphs as such. Okay, even if I've given 3 paragraphs, okay, S3 is working fine. Paragraphs are working, paragraph tag is working fine, but I don't see 3 paragraphs even though I've given 3 paragraphs in the HTML document. What does that tell us?
Line break, we have to break the row.
Right. So basically what does that tell us? HTML does not understand new line and paragraph breaking. It does not understand that. Okay, even if I give multiple breaks here, it will still put it into same paragraph. Okay, so how do I make these things appear as paragraph? I'll use as many paragraph tags as many paragraphs I have to show. Okay, so I want to show 3 paragraphs. This means I'll use 3 paragraph tags. All right, so you can see that in the last, this one, this is where the paragraph ends, but this is not where I want to end it. The first paragraph ends here, right? So I'll end this paragraph tag here. Okay. This is where my first paragraph ends. This is where my second paragraph starts. So I'll put the paragraph tag here. Okay, I'll start it from here and end it here. Okay. Similarly, I'll start it from here. I don't need to end it. Why? Because there is already an ending paragraph tag already. Let me just write it in a better formatting. Just for the document, not for the actual format document. Okay, something else it does. Okay, but I'll just keep this because we still need this. I'll just remove this introduction P because this is what we have already done. Okay, let me just shift all these things here. Okay, so when you select everything and do a shift tab, it will go backwards. Okay, let me save it and now let us see what is happening. So now you can see that these are 3 different paragraphs. Okay, these are 3 different paragraphs. So currently they're taking the entire space, so it seems that They are very small one sentences, but they are three different good paragraphs. Let me zoom it and show you. All right, so you can see that this is the heading, this is the subheading, then we are coming into the next part, and then we are going into paragraphs. Okay, see, creating three divs or divs does not mean that you will have a visible, differentiation between the two, right? So you can see that in the header part I've put h1 and h2, then there is another div starting where I've put h3 and the paragraph, but currently you cannot figure out from the document that where exactly those divisions are formed, right? So division tag by itself will not show anything on the screen unless you ask it to, show certain things. Okay. So I've given three paragraphs, so it has taken proper spaces and started new paragraphs with three paragraph tags. Okay. So this is the information that we want to put. Okay. Let me just take this back here. All right. And we're done with paragraph. Okay. Now, what is this image for AI? So we'll add an image now. Okay. So let me save this. How do we add an image? With the help of image tag. So I'll just put image and hit enter. So you can see there are two things. Actually, there are three things to observe. One is when I created paragraph tag or div tag, what happened? The div starting and the closing tag also got created. Here in image, I can see there is SRC, there is ALT, but there is no something like this. There is no closing image tag. In fact, the Vscode also is not understanding what this is, right? So there is no closing image tag. Why is that? Okay, so why is that? Is because it does not even require closing. Okay, when do you see or when do you think there are closing required? See, I want to mention artificial intelligence starts and it ends at this intelligence, and I want to show only that part into H1. Nothing else should be a part of H1. So I need to specify. I am starting my content from here and I'm ending my content here. Whenever you need to specify that I'm ending my content here, that will require a closing tag. Okay, so I want to specify only artificial intelligence into H1. Only that will come into, start of H1, and nothing will be there after that. So I will end it. Okay, that is same happening with all the other tags that we have used. H3, okay, I just want this question to be there in the H3, nothing else, right? Therefore this things comes in H3 tag. When I want only this particular three lines of text to come in a single paragraph, I'll start and end. All right, how did we differentiate between those two paragraphs? We created two different paragraph tags with starting and ending. All right, but for image, will there be any content of image? Yeah, there will be the file that I embed on in the image tag, but will there be any content? Will I say that my image content starts from here and ends here? I don't think there is any requirement. So when there are no requirement of showing that something ends here, there is no closing tag required. Such tags which do not require closing are called as self-closing tags. Okay, so this particular image tag by itself starts and ends there itself. Okay, its only work is to embed an image. All right, it will not show any content. So these tags are called as self-closing tags. Okay, so I hope you understood why there is no closing image tag.
So what is else, sir?
I'll come to that. Okay, now let us go to attributes. What are the different attributes of SRC and of image tag? So one is source. SRC means source. Okay, so this will tell you what image, where is the image located in your system or in the server that you want to load. All right, so first let me download an image. Image for AI. Let's go to images. Okay, which one, anything. This looks good, right? I'll just download this image. Save image as. Okay, so I'll just go to desktop and I'll just write AI. Sorry, AI.jpg. What was the format again? Yeah, JPG. So I'll just save it. Okay, currently it is in my desktop, but let me bring it to the same place where I'm using, right? So it is currently here. So go to desktop. Here. Okay, so I've dragged it there and I've put it here. AI.jpg. All right. So How will I use it? In the src, I'll put the name of image. I don't need to put anything else because the image and the same file which I'm working on, both are lying into same directory. All right, so I'll simply write AI, and the moment I write AI, it suggested that, okay, are you referring to this image? So yes, I am. All right, so in the src, I'll put the image, and in alt, I'll put what it should show if for some reason image does not load. All right, so I'll just write AI, and it should be an intuitive text, right? Because for some reason, let's say I'm trying to go to a website which is not connected, or the server is low for some reason, it will not load images and everything, right? So if it is not loading images and everything, I can see that broken image coming, right? So that broken image will come, but what was that image about? That information has to be put here. Okay, so I'll show you both the things, both the cases. Let us load, I mean save it, and let me show you. So I'll just go back to my document, and you can see that the image is embedded. All right, image is embedded here. We will resize it and everything will do, but will with the help of CSS. Okay, so you can see that the image is loaded, but for some reason, let's say by mistake I put AY. Okay, now AY is not an image. Okay, now if I save this, what will happen? This image it will try to find, and since it does not find that image, what will happen? This image will not get loaded. What do I see? A broken image. Okay, let me just zoom. So I see a broken image, and I also see the alternative text. So now I know that, okay, there was an image which was about AI. Okay, this is where I use that ALT attribute. This is clear?
So this image will be always an external file. Can we embed image in the HTML? Is there any way?
This is what is embedding.
Okay, but the file should be still a separate outside.
Yeah, it
outside
is. So
HTML.
all the right. So these images, scripts, everything are called as static files, which are always referred from outside. Okay, I can directly load the link from the from the web. I can use a web image from the web, but I can have local images. But in any sense, it is a static file and has to be there. Okay, so this is embedding an image into an HTML file. It's not that the image will stay there.
Okay. But for a normal web page, we can save as mhtml extension with one single file. All the images contains in that file, right? Is there that is just for the saving purpose, or we cannot use that in the web?
See, the thing is, generally what happens is, see, the thing is basically what is a good website that loads very quickly or that takes time, right? So I want to go to a web page that loads very quickly. Now embedding an image which is some MBs in size into an HTML file will take the file itself to load very will take the file itself to load some time, right? Now what I want is load the content before, and then okay, let the image load later. That is the reason we have it embedded. Okay, so for some reason, if my internet is slow and I'm trying to load each byte by byte, then what will happen? The content of the HTML will get loaded. The image may not load initially, but when the complete image is downloaded, it will be then rendered. Okay, so that is what is that's what makes the website more better in user experiences, right? Now if I have, I'm not sure how that is done, what extension you mentioned, I have not heard about it before, but let's say if you are for some reason you with some efforts you added an image which became an inherent part of HTML, then that HTML file by itself, even if it is static, will become very bulky.
Yes.
Right, so that is not what I want, and maybe that is the reason we don't have that thing in HTML5. Okay, improvements are done only to increase user experience. Okay, clear how the image is embedded and how we see it. We'll talk about resizing it and refactoring it and things like that. Okay, now let us go to applications, writing in the applications of this particular artificial intelligence with the help of ordered list. Okay,
Sir?
Yeah, go ahead.
Sir, how should we place the image one beside the other? Because if we are just clicking on the link, it is coming one below the other, and according to the format, one image should be at the side of the other.
Yeah,
What
so
should we do for that?
yeah, so that depends on what is the size of image and how much space on the page the image is taking. Okay.
Sir, the size is already mentioned in the document and
Yeah, I know
the
that.
same size is used, but still it's coming one below
By
the other.
default, they should come side by side. If it is not coming, I think there is a issue with size of your screen.
Okay, then what should we do for that?
See, the thing is, at this point, you would want to reduce the size of image, but that is not asked in the question statement. Images, see, there is something called as display of a particular tag. How does a tag display? Okay, and that display specifies whether the content will be shown taking the entire space or they will be appearing side by side. Okay, if you are embedding an image by itself, they will appear side by side. You don't need to do anything extra. Okay, now what should be what may have been the reason why they are coming one below the other? The complete screen size is smaller than the sum of width of two images. Are you getting? So let's say I think 250 pixel is the width and height to be mentioned, right? So 250
Yes,
plus
sir.
250 is 500 pixels. So entire width might be less than 500 pixel, but that I don't think is practical in case of computer.
Yes, sir.
How are you putting the images? Are they put in some other tag and then image tag is there, or directly image tag?
Sir, it's image tag, then I have put break tag, then again image tag,
Remove
and
that
then
break
again.
tag, no? Remove that
Okay,
break
sir.
tag.
Okay, sir.
That is the reason. So basically what you're trying to do is getting the everything on the next line. So you remove break tag and the image will come on one beside the other.
Sir, can you repeat this alt AI image? Because it is not displaying I think below the image. It should be, it may be the name of the image, na?
No, if you are putting no, it will not show below image. It is alternative, right? If for some reason image does not load, then only it will be shown.
Okay,
Okay.
okay, got it.
So what did I
And
do? I changed the name of image into something that does not exist here. This will make sure that the image does not load, and then it shows the alternative text.
how can we display the name of the image below or over this?
So this is not a name of the image. That's what I'm doing, right? So I'm saying H3 and I'm writing AI image, same thing. So that will appear. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Right. So whenever you want to give an idea of what exactly is coming below, use a heading. That's what we do in the documentation, any document that we write, right? Even if we create a Word document, what do we do? If I'm doing this, what will I do? I'll write AI image and then I'll add the image. Okay, so that is what I'm doing with H3. Okay, so I'm keeping this because what is AI image and everything that is follow, I mean everything, which means the application goals, all these headings are of the same level. Therefore I'm keeping everything in the same level, h3 h3 h3. Okay, if everything becomes, if any of that becomes subheading of that, I'll move to h4. Okay, so this is h1, this is h2, this is h3, and everything beyond this AI image, what is AI, goals, applications, all those will remain in h3 only, because they are same level of heading. Okay, the
So,
hierarchy of that. Yeah, go ahead.
sir, can we write text beside image like by the side of that? Is it possible?
Sorry, didn't get your question.
Like suppose the image has a height of say 250 pixels. I'm saying that after the image, the white space that is there, can we write anything through HTML
Here,
over there? Yeah, yeah.
yeah, we can do anything we want.
Okay.
Okay, but we'll come to that later. Okay, at this point we need to at least understand basically how these tags are working. All right, everything I see, I mean every modification that you want to do in this, in their default working, will be done with the help of CSS. Okay, so now I've added heading for image. I've added the image. Now let us go to application. So what I'll do again, I'll add a heading. I'll write applications, and then now what I will do is I'll create an ordered list. Okay, so ordered list OL. Okay, OL means ordered list, right? And every item of ordered list will come in this tag called as a like list item. So if there are 3 list items which I want to put in ordered list, I'll write 3 LIs. Okay, now let me figure out what these items are. Go to Wikipedia. Wikipedia. Then we are going into see. So let's say so these are goals. Okay, let us go to applications. Applications. Because they're not application as such. But okay, let us use this natural language processing, perception, robotics, and social intelligence. So I will not copy. I'll just write natural language processing. Okay. And again, I'll use LI. It is robotics. Okay. What is the next? Perception. Perception and social intelligence. Social. Okay. Somebody on unmute. Please mute if you're not speaking. Okay. If there is any doubt, okay, then you unmute. Okay, so you can see that I've added an OL and OL tag. I mean, again, I need to tell that, okay, this is where my list starts and this is where my list ends. Okay, I want to specifically say that this is another list item, this is another list item. So I need to put ending tags as well. Okay, so there are very few self-closing tags. Most of the tags are require this closing. Okay, few self-closing tag. One of them is this one, which I said image. All right, other one is link tag, which we'll see. All right, so if I put this OL and now if I save, let us see what we get. So you can see that now they're coming in numbered list, right? I did not mention numbered, but I only mentioned that it is ordered. This means some order has to be there. All right, applications, heading again, and then order. Can I change this 1, 2, 3, 4 to something else? Yes, let us see that. What I'll do, I'll just write type equals to, and then I mention whatever I want, right? So type equals to, let's say A will bring everything into small abcd. Okay, type into capital A will bring everything into capital ABCD. Okay, you can also use Roman numerals. Small I will bring everything into Roman numerals. Right, but let us go with A, not A. Okay, let us keep 1, 2, 3, 4 by default. So leave it as is. Okay, so when I leave it as is, it becomes 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, and the next thing that I want are goals to be put into unordered list. So can you tell me what is the unordered list link tag? UL.
Yeah.
Right, because if OL is ordered list, unordered list is UL. All right, so that's what we do. I'll remove this. Okay, and I'll write UL. Okay, and the internally that works same, right? Li will be there. Okay, so Li. Let me add, 3 of those. Let us add 3 goals. All right, so I'll remove this also now because that we have done. Okay, and in this, I'll have to also provide what exactly I'm talking about. So these are goals of AI. Okay, goals of AI. What are the goals? Let us see. That was in the top. Right, problem solving, knowledge representation, planning, and decision making. So, right, problem solving, decision making, and what's the other one? Planning. Okay, so this will come into unordered list. So let's save this and see. Unordered list, you will see bulleted list. Okay, goals of AI, bulleted list. Okay, and then we are now left with the last part, that is external links, right? So what will I do? I'll write anchor tags. Okay, so what is this anchor tag now? How does it work, right? So for example, Okay, let us see how it works directly from here, right? So it has this attribute called href. What does that href will include? Href will include what link I want to go to. Okay, what link the page should take me if I click on something. All right. So let us give the link for Wikipedia itself. All right. So I'll just write this HTTPS and everything. So I'll write this here. It should take me this, but where should I click? That has to be written in the content. Okay. So I'll write external. Okay. So whatever I'm writing as the content of anchor tag should appear as a clickable link on the document. Okay. And when I click on that clickable link, it should take me here. This is how we create anchor tags. Okay. So let me just save this and show you. You can see that there is an external link. All right. So when I click on external link, you can see that the link is coming on the bottom right, right? Here it will appear. See, as soon as I hover, it comes on the bottom right. So when I click on this, it takes me to same page, artificial intelligence. Right. When I go back, it takes me to the same document. Okay. So this is how we embed links. All right. And the last part now is footer. Okay. So last part is footer. This is where I just want to add who has created this. So this has been created by, let's say, IIT Madras PS. Okay, then I'll separate it using pipes. Okay, and then I'll write @copy. Sorry, not @. Okay, let's save and see this. Okay. You can see this copyright sign coming, right? This is because of that and copy I gave. All right, so I know that now it is IIT Madras base degree copy, right? 2023 in September. Now let us remove that comma. Does it look? Okay, so what are these basically? These are called as HTML entities. Okay, so if I want to embed a symbol within an HTML file, right? Okay, let's say I want to embed a less than sign. What will I do? Right, because less than sign are actually interpreted as anchor for a tag, right? Sorry, angle tag or angle element of any HTML element, right? So how do I put a less than tag? So this is done with the help of these entities, which tell the HTML file that, see, this is not a tag, but this is something that we want to explicitly print on the page. All right. So how do I put less than? I think it is done by this LT. Okay, let us save and see. You see a less than tag coming, and it is not understood as div tag, right? Any opening of any tag. Okay, so these are called as HTML entities, which allows HTML to understand the difference whether I want to print as it is or I want to render it. Okay, so that is given with that is shown or identified with the help of prefix and. All right, so these are all defined HTML entities. Search on the internet, you'll get whole list of entities. Okay, but something that we, as far as web applications are concerned, we put, we use this copyright everywhere. So and copy is there. Okay, so this is the three different things that we have added, right? One is the header, the content, and the footer part. All right, let us save and see the complete raw content. Okay, HTML document, plain HTML document are also called as raw content. Okay, so you can see that there is a top level heading, subheading, then all same level heading, right? Showing the paragraph, image, applications, and ordered list, unordered list, and external. Okay, this is what we want to see in HTML. Any issues till this point? Hello, am I still there?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Okay, so now we'll move on to the CSS part. All right, now we'll try to make this thing appear something good, okay, better than what it is now. Okay, it is very raw, where I see that there is no length for paragraphs coming in. Images is randomly added. With respect to image, the size of this font is very less, right? So we need to make it better. Okay, let us do it with the help of CSS now. All right. I hope those are doing it in Replit are also able to do it. Okay. The only thing is I'm not sure if for some of you it also might be able. I mean, you might be able to see this in the new tab also. Let me see if it is working now. No, it is not working for me, but leave it. Okay. So let me go back to my document and Vscode. All right. Now what I'll do is I'll create a new file that is style.css. Okay. So the moment I give it a CSS extension, okay, the style spelling is wrong, right? STYLE. Style.css. The moment I give CSS, it takes that icon accordingly and saves it at and opens it. All right. Now whatever change I do has to be incorporated in this HTML file, right? So the HTML file has to be linked with that CSS file. Okay. Will CSS file be shown on the screen? No. Okay, only it will be used by the browser, right? Since it is not shown on the screen, I will not embed it within the body tag. I'll do it within the head tag because it is a meta information. Okay, so I'll just write link. Okay, so by itself it says that the relation, what kind of relation you're sharing with that link, it is a style sheet. This is important for the browser to understand that there's this the the style.css file that has been attached is actually a style sheet which it has to refer to actually style this HTML document. All right, and what will be the href, the file name itself? Why? Because everything is there in the same folder. Yeah, somebody raised hand.
Yes, sir. So when the browser is rendering the document, so is the head portion rendered first or the body? Of the
Only
document?
the body. That's what I mentioned from the at the very beginning, right? Whatever is seen on the browser is the body. Whatever is used internally or behind the curtains is actually the head part.
Okay, so that's why CSS is.
Yeah, that's why I'm adding CSS. The only thing that you can see that again that is not appearing on the browser, but on the top is the title. Okay, so I'll just write here I'll write AI.
So the browser will wait for the CSS to download first before it renders, right?
Yes, yes, it will. Okay, but currently see the style.css, HTML, everything, these are lightweight and they're in the same folder. They're running in the same server. They're available at one place. So you will not notice any time delay. Okay, but in case of a very heavy website, you might see that the basic content gets load first, and if there is any something that is appearing that takes time, then the style appears. Right here, we will not notice. Will not be able to notice that difference. But yes, first the basic content gets loaded, then the style gets applied.
Okay.
Sir, there is a type attribute to the link. What is it? Can you please tell?
Where exactly?
To the link one, type attribute.
Where is it? I see Arial and href.
No, sir, it is used in the tutorial. I
Yes,
think I've seen it somewhere.
Sir, that is
ordered
he is
list.
asking about order list, sir. 1, 2, 3 ABC.
Okay. Yeah, that's what. So I was searching for with that within the link tag. Okay, so in the ordered list, you need to
No, sir,
also sometimes
I
define.
was I was saying that in the link tag there is a type attribute,
Okay, all right.
like text slash CSS something.
Yeah. So that's what, right? That type attribute is sometimes given to write text that's text slash CSS. This gives the server some idea of what kind of file is attached. All right. But since we are already specifying that I'm attaching style sheet and the name is also given, we don't need to. It is not an mandatory attribute. Okay, it
Okay,
is
sir.
very, we have removed that meta information also, right? Why? Because that was not mandatory. We know this is going to happen.
Okay, sir.
All right.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I mean, for those who said that type in the OL, that is also correct. But yeah, there is one type attribute within the link also, which specifies what kind of document we are trying to connect, and which is very well specified by this. All right. So you don't need to put that. Yeah. Go ahead.
Sir, after removing the viewport meta tag, now this page is responsive or not?
Yeah, it is responsive because see, we by ourselves are not doing anything to make it responsive. Browsers by themselves make it responsive.
Okay, sir.
Okay, see, if I want to explicitly make it responsive, I'll have to use lot of CSS. I'll have to use things that make it responsive. Okay, but nowadays the modern browsers like Chrome, I mean the the browsers in last 5 to 10 years have become quite modern to understand and render HTML documents in a very good way, right? So that will make it responsive to some extent, not a complete extent, but to some extent it makes it responsive. I'll show you that also. Okay, let me
Okay,
style to some extent. I'll show you.
okay, sure.
Okay, so for example, now there is something that we are going to learn now when we learn CSS is called as developer tools. I think you may have heard of it, but what developer tool does is it helps us to see the real-time changes happening in the document. All right, so I'll just go to inspect and let me go make it appear on the right. Okay. All right, so you can see this dimensions responsive on the top. Zoom if I even if you zoom, that text does not get zoomed, so there's no point. So this here it shows that it is what are the dimension, it is responsive. This means if the size of the page changes, it will change accordingly. So you can see it here, right? So you can see that the content is coming down by itself. You can see the image is getting resized. This nature is called as responsive web page, which is by default understood and incorporated by browser only. Okay, that is the reason browser is giving me this tool to work with, right?
Yes, sir.
If I want to make it more more responsive as to change its view based on certain viewport, then I'll have to do more coding and involve more major important concepts of CSS like media queries. Okay, so we'll see that later. I don't think media queries will be ever required, because this is where media queries will be required when you want to show different view of a single page on laptop, tab, and mobile. Okay, so that is where we use things like that. But here we will be only using laptop in maximum cases, which will, and therefore we will code for only laptop. Okay, so we won't use media queries anything. I just mentioned because you mentioned about changing the size, going more into responsiveness.
Okay, sir, got it.
Okay, now let us try to give it good style. Okay, so what I'll do is here. So in the style.css, what will I do is first, if there is any default margin or default padding given, I'll remove that. Okay, how do I do that? I'll simply select body. Okay, so I talked about selectors, right? This selectors actually represent or specify where I am trying to apply style or to what element I'm trying to apply style. Okay, so when I say body, it understands that, okay, you are trying to apply style to body. So what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to remove if there is any default margin or default padding. So I'll do margin colon. So in CSS, it is like a key value pair, right? So in margin has to be 0 pixel or 0%. Let us do it 0 pixel. Okay, 0% would be good. Okay, and padding 0%. It is something that you do just for the sake of removing default margin and padding. Is it always necessary? No. Okay, I'm just doing it for the sake of doing. Okay, because probably in the Replit you may have seen that was already there, right? In the CSS, if I go, yeah. So you see that the height and width is 100% taken. What does that mean? It means that you ignore the margins and padding. Padding, yes. Here what we have done, we have put margin and padding to 0%. Ultimately, it's the same thing. Okay, now let us style it. Okay, so let me see if change has been incorporated. Yeah. So now you can see. Yeah.
So the percentage is with respect to the screen that you are seeing.
Yes, percentages with respect to screen. Okay, so now you can see that the artificial everything, the content got completely stuck with the screen, right? On the left margin. Okay, so that has happened when I did margin and padding equals to 0, right? By default, I'm taking that. Later on, I'll add according to my will. Okay, now we will go on to doing thing. Now let me show you how are the differentiations made. So what I'll do, I'll write div, okay, and I'll give a border. Okay, I'll give border 1 pixel solid black. Okay, this is called as border shorthand property. And not black. It's called as border shorthand property. What is border shorthand property? For understanding border shorthand property, not border, you need to understand how we actually give bordering. Okay, so I'll just comment it for a while and show you by default how you give border. So what I'll write, border width, border width 1 pixel. Okay, then I'll give border style. So you must be seeing style here. Yeah, border style solid. Okay, then I'll give border color, and that will be given as black. Okay, so you can see that I'm writing border, I'm specifying border width separately, border style separately, and border color separately. Okay, and you can see the last sentence here. Everything that was done with 3 lines is now being done with single line, shorthand. Okay, I'll show you there is no difference with what I've written here and what will happen when I uncomment this. Okay, so can you see that now the borders have appeared and they have appeared in the right places in all the divs. Okay, so there is one border coming in the top level div which encompasses everything. One border is coming on the header, one border is coming on the major content, and one border is coming on the footer. Okay, so this is how you give border. Okay, border specifies or gives you a very good idea of where a particular element is located, right, where it is moving, where it is positioned on the screen. So very good idea on that. Till now, since the border was not there, we were not getting what is located where, right? Where does the second part start? Where does the content start? Where does the footer ends? Things like that, right? We were not getting, but now it is very clear, right? I know that the header ends here, content starts here, content ends here, and header footer starts here. All right. You may or may not keep border always, right? So it depends on whether it is supporting your design or not, right? But it is a very good explanation or what we call the display of what is happening exactly on the screen. So now what I'll do, I'll just comment these 3 things and uncomment this, and I'll show you that there is absolutely no change. Okay, so that is the reason we are calling it border shorthand property, because we are writing the 3 lines of code in a single line. And now if this is understood, let me remove this. Okay, yeah. But
Sir, one small thing, sir. Sir, this size, type, or whatever, and the color should be in the sequence, or it can be in different sequence also,
right,
sir.
you have to follow this sequence. Okay, so even while writing all the 3 things together, I have followed the same sequence, right? Here the sequence can change. I could have given border style before and then border width later. But in shorthand, this is the way of defining, because you're writing 3 different parameters together. So how does the compiler understand that, okay, first one is to be taken as, width or not. Second one is to be taken as style or not. So that's why with this order has to remain same. The same sequence has to be followed. First width, then style, then color. Okay. Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now let us move on to something else, right? Now let's say I want to style only this header. Let me go to the index.html also to make you understand. Let me only see. When I use div, it used all the div, right? It styled all the div, whether it was a top level div or inner level div or this one of the 3 divs, right? It styled all. Let's say if I want to style only this particular div, how do I do that? Okay, this is where the selectors come in. Okay, this is where selectors come in. So now giving ID to this particular div actually makes me understand or makes me identify this particular div with a unique name. Okay, it does not remain div as a whole. Okay, things that I want to apply to div can be applied, that still stays there. But if I want to apply to this particular div, how do I particularly select that div? So this is where the selectors come in, right? And if I want to select only one element, one unique element, I should use ID. Okay, now let us do that. Okay, so basically what I want to do is, first, if you see on the screen, the the width of the document, I need to make it uniform. All right. Here it is this long. I mean, this content is getting over here only. Here it is taking the entire width. Here it is taking only that much there for the image. Here it is taking very less width. So I want to make the content at least appear on the center and have a proper defined width. So what will I do? How will I provide width to each and everything? With the help of this top level element, right? This is therefore I put everything in this top level div and give it id top level. Okay, now top level can be anything. It is just an intuitive name which help me to understand later why exactly I gave this, right? Or what exactly it represented when I was coding, right? So therefore I give this name top level. What I want to do, I want to make the entire content of same width. Okay, I mean same width as in it will take the particular width of the screen, not the entire thing. All right, so what will I do? First I'll go to style and then I'll go to select that, right? So I'll write top level. Okay, top level, and then I'll give width. Let's say I give width 900 pixel. Okay, we may or may not be correct every time. I just randomly chose 900 pixel. Will this be sufficient? Will this be okay? Will this look really look good, or it will look bad? We will see when we see the preview, right? Now what do you think? Will the width appear? The width is not appearing, right?
Sir, the hash is missing.
Yeah, I'm coming to that, right? So the width is not appearing. Why? Even I'm selecting the top level, the width is not appearing. Why is that happening? That is because whatever I write here, the CSS by default consider it as an element. Okay, so body is an element, div is an element, but top level is not an element. It is an ID given to element. Okay, so how do I tell CSS that no, this is not an element, but this is an ID of an element? So this is why I write hash. Okay,
Element, you mean a class? By
element means all the elements. See, everything that is there in the HTML file is element. Head is an element. HTML is an element. Every tag, basically, every tag is an element. Okay, so let me rephrase this. So in the style.css, if you directly write the name of the tag, it will understand that it is a default tag in the HTML. Is top level a default tag? No, it is an ID given to a particular tag, right? So I need to specify, or I need to tell style.css that this top level is actually an ID, right? So therefore I need to specify this hash. Okay, now I'll show you the difference. So when I hover on body, it says selector. Don't worry about specificity. It says it is a selector. Okay, and it gives a body tag. Okay, because it understands, okay, there is a body tag in the HTML file and I'm using it as a selector. When I go to div, yes, div selector. Now when I go to top level, what does it say? It talks about ID top level. See, it is not showing that particular element. It does not worry about what element it was given to. It only worries that, it only understands that, okay, there is some ID, I need to choose it. Okay, this is where uniquely specifying a particular element is coming handy to us. All right, so if I want to use, or I want to style, or I want to select a particular element with its ID, I will give hash. Okay, now let us try and see that if it works. Now you see that the width is coming. Okay, image is going outside, that is a different thing, but the width is now working fine. Okay, now width is getting incorporated to the entire document, and you can see that the P and everything has taken their space accordingly. All right, now what we'll do, the other thing I'll do is, generally in any web page what you see is the entire content appears on the center, right? The entire content appears on the center. So what will happen, what we'll do is we'll give some, or we'll try to shift it on the right. Okay, shifting on the right will mean that I need to give some margin on the left. Okay, so what margin is, one padding is, will come when we see box model. I'll come to that in a minute, but just have to focus on this thing, that if I want to shift the content on the right, I'll have to give some margin, that is some spacing on the left, right? So what will I do? I'll go to same top level and I'll write margin. Okay, and let's start with, let's say 100 pixel of margin. Okay, 100 pixel of margin. Fine, right? But still it's not in the center. So how do I make sure that it becomes in the center? What I'll do, I'll go to developer tools. Now, developer tools is a very good way of understanding what exactly is happening. So you can see the real-time changes in the document here only. Okay. So you can see when I write only margin, the margin will be applied on all four sides. All four sides. So you can see there is a margin on left 100 pixel and margin on the top also 100 pixel, and even in the bottom. See margin 100 pixel coming on the bottom. Right, it was anyway too big margin, right? So that 100 pixel margin is not currently surfacing at this point. Okay, but it is there. Okay, now how do I make use of this developer tools? So you can see that the entire document which is getting rendered is shown here in the elements. Okay, so head is there, body is there, and everything is there, right? Top level, then there are three divs, header, content, foot, right? And as soon as I hover on them, the same thing gets selected or highlighted on the screen. So it gives me very, very good idea as in what is the actual content, where exactly it is placed, and everything, right? If I go to top level, you can see that this orange color thing appearing on all four sides. What does that represent? Margin. Okay. And when I said that there is margin on the right, but it is not surfacing, now it is visible, right? So this is what is margin. Now I want to change this margin so that it appears only on the left. First thing. Second thing, it brings everything on the center, right? So what will I do? I will select that element. So you can see this top, the very first icon into dotted arrow, this one. This will allow you to hover on any particular element and select that element. Okay, so let me go to this particular top level. Okay, this complete, not the HTML. I want to go into this top level. So you can understand from here, whichever is getting highlighted, it gives you an information of what exactly is getting highlighted. So here div hash top level. What does that mean? The div with ID top level is currently getting highlighted. If I click on this, on the right, all the styles attached to it will appear. Okay, so I'll show you this here. See all the style. We had given it 900 pixel width. We had given it margin 100 pixel, right? Now, what do I want to do? I want to change this margin to margin that appears only on the left. So how do I do that? I will change this margin to margin hyphen left. Okay. And the moment I do that, you see the top margin is gone and the bottom margin is also gone. And there is only margin on the left. All right. And what I can do now, now I can just click on this and put an above arrow and put it to, try to put it on the center. Okay. And I'll stop when I feel that it is in the center. Okay, so now I feel that it is center roughly at 506 pixel. Okay. So this is how you make center if you are new to this CSS. Okay. Now what is the problem with this? I have hard coded margin on the left. Now let me see what is happening when I decrease the screen size. My application does not remain on the center, right? The margin on the right becomes smaller, but margin on left still remains 500. Okay, so how do I make sure that even if the screen changes, my content remains center aligned? How do I make sure? Here what I'll do, instead of doing margin left or margin top or margin bottom, I'll keep it same to margin, and instead of giving any specific width or height, I'll just write auto. Okay. When you write auto, you will see that the margin, top level, right? The margin remains, okay, this is happening because of this image, right? So margin by itself is coming on the center. All right. So even if I decrease the screen size, so you can see that the margin on both the end is getting reduced. Okay. And my element is staying at the center. Okay. But the thing is, problem is every change you make here will not be reflected here. You can see that it is same. All right. Why is that? Because this is only with respect to the page that got rendered. Okay. It is not actually changing the source. What is the source? The source is this. Okay. So whatever changes I made there and found satisfactory, those changes I have to make here also. Okay. So I'll make this margin auto. All right. And I'm not really satisfied with 900 pixels. So I'll make it 1,000 pixels. Okay. Now when I save it, these changes will be incorporated and my content is appearing on the center. Don't worry about the image for now, but my content is now appearing on the center. Okay, entire content. This looks better because generally websites are shown in the center. Okay, any doubt till this point? I've spoken a lot of things, but I hope that is clear. Any doubt at this point?
Excuse me, sir. How do we open this developers tool that you showed on the live page?
Yeah,
That
so what you
will
do
take.
is you right click on the page, go to inspect, and the developer tools open.
Okay,
And
so
sir,
this
also
is basically to just to see how the settings
Yeah, this will
would
see
suit
what is
our
happening.
requirement. Then we
Right, what
can
is
change
happening?
in the
I
same.
make a change here and then I see live. I make a change here, then I see
Mm-hmm.
live. So what will happen? It will take a lot of time, and it will take actually a lot of time to actually come to the right number. All right.
Okay.
When I see everything in the real time, I can check. Okay, this should be the number, and this is how it should look.
All right.
Right, so these are why is it called as developer tool, because it makes very easy for us to see what is happening real time with the page. Okay, once you are satisfied with the page setting, copy that much style and add there in your original document.
So this tool we can use for any, like there is a website there and we can see the styling that
Yeah,
they're
yeah, yeah.
using
See,
and we
let me
can.
show you for Google. So this is the HTML page of Google. Okay, now it is showing a lot of other things. So this is the stylings it is using. Okay, these are the codes it is using. This is the div tag, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is the complete HTML file, and these is the complete CSS things that are attached to this complete page.
Oh, okay.
All right, so
Thank
this
you.
will be for anything. Even I can change this name. Okay, so if I go to this thing and I select on this Google, okay, it will take me to this page, right? This logo. Okay,
sir,
and then I
how to read this the below given part in the style sheet, the the map kind of thing was in the
this
color gap. Yeah, yeah.
yeah. So this is called as box model. Okay, I'll show you with the element. Okay, so let us close this Google because we don't want to deal with such
And,
complicated file.
and also one thing, sir, how can we adjust the image such that like it could fit when we are like
This one, right?
changing the
Yeah, we're
size?
coming
Yeah.
to that next. Okay, so that's what I said, right? So when now we are done with the content, we feel that the content looks okay. Now let us try to set the image. Okay, so what will I do? There are a couple of things that we can do. Setting it with the help of HTML or setting it with the help of CSS. Any styling that you want to do, any page layout, any change of size, this and that, it has to be done with CSS. Okay, it is a good rule. Okay, so that you don't hard code anything with the HTML, only CSS. If the CSS changes, the appearance of the page should change completely, right? So that's what we are going to do. What I'll do is I'll again go back to developer tools, go to inspect, and I'll show you a real-time way of using developer tool, right? So now I'm not sure what should be the width of this image, right? And I want to make sure that it works perfectly, right? So what will I do? I will select this image. See, so I can say if I want to select a particular image or particular element for that matter, what will you do? You will go, you will make this thing active, right? This dotted with arrow, make it active. It will be blue when it is active. Then whenever you hover on any particular element and click on it, only hovering will give you what is selected. But when you click on it, all the styles and everything will appear here. All right, currently image has no style. Okay, but what I can do, you can go to element.style. Okay, you can write width. Okay, and for starters you can start off with 500 pixel. Okay, the moment I did 500 pixel, it has taken that much width. Okay, height will adjust accordingly. Okay, now I will keep on increasing it till the point it comes to the right border. Okay, I might have to change the image with later when we give some padding, but this is what it is for now. Okay, sounds good, right? 997 pixel. So what we'll go, what we'll do, we'll go into style.css. Now image is only one, right? So I can very safely use image tag. Get the image tag, width 997 pixel. Okay, done. All right. So once that is done, we save it, and even if I close the tag, the image is now set. Clear?
Sir, if you zoom out or zoom in,
Uh, It will still be set because zoom on is actually not changing any page layout. See?
Okay. Yes, it's working.
So could you please show once again the steps? How did you change the size of the
Yeah,
image?
what I did was, see, I was not sure, right, what was the width. Yeah, I knew it was 100,000 pixel, but see, there was some border also, right? So I didn't know exactly what should be the width. So what I did was, I went to, developer tools. Then I went, I mean, see, this is a very, comparatively easy document. But what if you have something very, hard document or a lot of content? You don't want to, go into an entire document and select that. Search for the image. So what does developer tools provide is you go to this particular icon on the top left of developer tools and hover on whatever part you want to go to, right? So you can see that everything gets selected, whichever part you hover on. What I wanted to go to, where I wanted to go to on the image. So I went on image, it got highlighted, right? So you're talking about this image, all right? Then I click on it. The moment I click on it, all this, see, this image is getting highlighted here on the elements, and on the right
Yes.
within the style, all the style applied to it will be appearing here.
Okay.
Okay. Then later on, I started off with any random number which was 500. Okay, which because I didn't know what was the what was the actual pixel, and then it took the 500 width. Then I increased it one by one so that I come to the actual size. Okay, so 998 looked better. Okay, then I thought, okay, 997 looks better or 998 looks better. But whatever change I make here is just temporary, right? To this page that is coming on the browser. It is not actually happening on the source that is here. So that change to get reflected on the source, I made the change in the style.css to make it permanent.
So there is no way to inherit the where it is the images which div and what is the width of the div and adjust accordingly.
Didn't get your question.
Suppose okay, the image is in the frame right now. That frame width is already defined. So
Yeah.
is
So
there?
that's what I said, right? I knew that the pixel, it's 1,000 pixels. I could have taken anything. But the thing is, 1,000 pixel is the width of your entire document. But there are some borders, they have their width, right? There has to be some margin kept along. So there are certain things that you might not know. So that calculation you can do. How to do that calculation? I know that my borders are 1 pixel. Okay, this means 2 pixels on the left and 2 pixels on the right. Why am I saying 2 pixels? Because there is 1 pixel border applied to the top level div. 1 pixel is applied. 1 pixel border is applied to main content. So 1 plus 1 2 on the left, 1 plus 1 2 on the right. So my actual image should be 1000 minus 4 996. All right. So you come to that value very easily when you know what exactly is there. But this is when you know. Okay. Some cases you might not know what is the padding, what is the border given. All right. Or you might forget about it, and sometimes there is a calculation, a lot of calculation we have done. So to avoid that, we can directly do not worry about the numbers and directly come to check directly.
Sir,
Okay,
what?
yeah, actually now 1,000
Sir,
is the width. Okay, suppose if we change that to 800 later, is there any way that we make the changes only in one place everywhere it is adjusted accordingly?
Yeah, so if you make change here, then only it will be, because this is the source. And see, what happens is, what did I do? What is happening here? This file is running on a server, right? Whenever I search for this file, index.html, the server will send only a copy of it, not the actual source. And which is intuitive, right? You would not make change here in a Google page and that should appear to everybody else, right? So you want to make change that is only applicable to your end. Server will verify it and make that changes applicable to everyone. That is what we have done here, right? So whatever changes you are doing here is only happening to instance that is with you, with the browser, not with the server.
Yeah, that
Okay.
is clear, sir.
Sir, if I try to add, so I'm getting an invalid property value when I try to change element.style for
What
my
is that?
image. So I'm getting an invalid property value, no matter what width I choose. The image is different from yours, but that's what I'm getting.
Why is
Invalid
that?
property value. So it says width, and I've given 200 pixel, and the 200 is a line, is a strike through. So is it just related to this image I've chosen?
No, I don't think so. That should be the case. Let me just. Okay, maybe I can stop sharing for a minute, and you
Oh,
can show me.
okay.
This is not a graded document, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'll
Okay.
just a second.
Yeah, you can share your entire screen.
Okay.
Sharing a tab will cause issues.
So here.
Okay, what does it
Yeah.
say? What is the actual size of the image?
Sir, just a second. It is.
You can go to your page.
Sir, 474 by 350, 335.
474. Okay.
So any number I try to give, I get a strike through, and it says invalid property value.
Okay, can you go to your index.html?
Yes, sir. So,
Okay, can you? Okay. What is this AI percentage 20?
so that
Okay, but that is because of
that
the
space.
space.
Yes, sir.
Maybe due to format, JPEG does not allow. Can you try with PNG or JPG?
Okay, so some other PNG image I'll try then. So one more thing, sir. In Firefox, how do I? So I was trying to do the same thing, developer tool. Okay, it's the same thing. You select the image
Yeah.
with the inspector. Okay.
Yeah, the first right. Yes.
Yeah, I'll try with the PNG. And thank you, sir.
I have used a JPG file. You can do it with PNG also.
Okay, sir.
I think that is an issue with the format JPG.
Okay, sir. I'll stop sharing.
So there is still on the bottom you see stop sharing.
Sir,
Yeah, go ahead.
can you take the CSS part once again? Just summarize it.
Yeah, so we'll come to that. I mean, see what I've done nothing, right? I've just made it center, and I have gone into. Yeah. So there are only two things that I've done, right? See, taking it again, I mean, just follow through. This session is recorded. You can watch it again, go back and go forward, right? So if I keep on repeating, there will be same content in the entire session. Okay. I mean, it's okay if you don't follow certain things, but later on, I mean, sir, just focus on things that are coming. Okay. Everything is different. I'm not working on building up on the same thing that I've done previously. All right. I will
Okay, sir.
just give you a quick review. What we have done is basically we have set initially what we have done is we just have reset everything. Okay, just to make sure that there are no by default any margin added, by default any padding added. So we have reset everything. All right. Then what I did, I gave a 1 pixel solid black border to every element so that I understand where exactly one particular section starts and one ends. All right. This border is basically called a shorthand property. Okay, so that you can go into details. Then what I've done is I wanted to style to a particular element which had an ID. Okay, so to mention or to make sure that the CS understand that I'm only using ID, we need to give hash. All right, and then the ID name. Okay, so if you go into index.html, you see this top level is the name of ID name. Why does it show this? Yeah, so top level is a, it is a ID name. Okay, but that CSS does not understand that, right? CSS will only treat everybody as an element. So to make sure that CSS understand that we are, trying to select an element with the help of its ID, I give hash, and that is a rule. We give hash for ID and something else for class, that is dot. Right, so we have not used any class for now, but maybe we will. Okay, then what I wanted to do, the image had some, default width. Okay, and I wanted to set it according to my document. So I made use of developer tool. There is AI and everything. So I made use of developer tool. Let me zoom out. Yeah, so I made use of developer tool. How do we do that? By click on right click and click on inspect. All right, then I just selected this because this allows me to hover on any element and give me its properties. All right, so similarly, I went to image and clicked on it. The moment I click on image, it will be highlighted in the HTML document, as you can see here, and all the style associated with it will be shown here. All right, then I started off with a random size 500 pixel. Then I increase this to the moment it reaches to the actual width, okay, which came out to be 997. Okay, and then I saw that the image is working fine. Okay, that's what we did. Okay, now moving on, what I'll do is, the other thing that I would do is these paragraphs. Okay, so you can see that these paragraphs are leaving unnecessary spaces here. Okay, so I just want to justify its content. What will I do? And this should happen with all the paragraphs, right? So I'll simply select P, okay, and text align, and then I select justify. Okay, text align justify. The moment I do this, you can see that the content is now better aligned. Okay, the content is now better aligned. Okay, it is not leaving any unnecessary space on the right and everything. Okay, but you can see that the content here is completely stuck to the left and on the right. That I don't want. That is happening because of the margin and padding I added, but I don't want that to happen. Okay, similarly for this artificial intelligence and intelligence of machine or software, right? So every complete content is coming on the left. I want to add some spacing between the actual text and the border. So that extra spacing between the text and the border is called as padding. Okay. Now with this term padding, let us try to understand what box model is. Okay. So what I'll do is I'll go back to inspect. Okay. And then I'll select this artificial intelligence. Same thing I did, this arrow and then artificial intelligence. So you can see that the content is actually appearing on the blue, and the margin, default margin that it takes on the top and bottom, which is a default setting of H1. All right, so that is coming on orange. So if I click on this and I hover back on, scroll down, I can see what is happening exactly with this particular document. This not document exactly, this element H1. So it is taking the width of the complete body of the the top level div that we have done, that is 997 pixel. All right, or 998,000 pixel. And why is this 998? Because the 1 pixel from each side is taken by the div, right? Therefore it is 998. Okay, and 37 is the default height that H1 takes. Okay, it does not, this H1 does not have any border, although the div in which it is lie is having a border, but the H1 by itself does not have any border, right? And it does not have any padding. That is the reason it is stuck. All right, that is the reason it is stuck. So it is better to let us do it with the div, the complete div header. Okay, so you can see that it is 998. Why is this 998? Because of the outer top level div width. Okay, it is having border because we have given 1 pixel border, right? It is not having any padding and no margin at this point. Why no margin? Because margin auto does not make, does not give any actual number of the margin, right? It is actually adjusting according to screen size. So no particular number given to it. Okay, and on the top and bottom, anyway, we don't have any margin. So what will I do is, I will give margin on top and bottom. Okay, so any style I want to apply on this particular element can be given in element.style. All right, so what I'll do is margin, okay, and I want this margin to appear on top and bottom and no margin to appear on the right and left. Okay, so how do we give it? Margin, I'll write 5 pixel. I'll start off with 5 pixel margin. Okay, all right. So actually I was thinking this entire div, right? So margin we don't want for the outer div, we don't want margin, sorry. What we want is padding. We want to put some spacing between that, right? So I'll write padding. Okay, and the moment I give padding 5 pixel, you can see that now artificial intelligence and this head H2 has moved towards right. You can decide on increasing or decreasing it. Right? I think 10 pixel padding is okay. So we'll keep it to 10 pixel. All right. Now, moment I give 10 pixel padding, you can see that now the padding is appearing 10 pixel. and whatever is green color will show you exactly on the screen what exactly is padding, what exactly is content, what is border, and what is margin. Okay, so this is what is called as box model, which gives you a very good idea of what exactly is happening with that particular element. In our case, that element is header div. All right, I think I've selected that, right? Header div. Okay, now I want this change to become permanent. What will I do? I'll go back to my this div, I mean style.css, and select that particular div. Right, so it is header. All right. Now, if I want that padding to appear for the this part also, where exactly are we here? This part also. What we will do? We will select that div also. How do we do select that div? We can select multiple elements with the help of comma. So it is slash header slash content. I forgot the IDs actually. So it is, yes, content and header. So it is hash header hash content, and what are we giving? Padding. How much is the padding we thought is correct? 10 pixels. Okay, so the moment I save it, I get everything perfectly fine. Now, what did I say when I was, shaping the image? I said I might have to reshape it again, right? This is because of this. Now, padding is added on the left. It has, shifted on the right. So why is that happening? Because image width will not change unless I change it myself. Okay, so now I'll have to adjust it once again. What will I do? I'll select the image and try to decrease this width.
Can you manually decrease the width
977.
using some shorthand key like arrow or something like that?
Sorry, didn't get 977. So we will change this 996 to 977 now, which is adjustable with respect to the padding also. Can we stop it? So you can see that now the image and everything is added. The margin, sorry, the padding on the left is perfectly aligned. It is coming on the application goals, external links also, right? I can see this part. This part is something that is sticking to the left. Generally, these things are there at the center. So what will I do to that? I'll go back to my style.css. Okay, and I know what that is. It is hash foot. And what do I want? I want that text to appear in the center. So I do text align center, not justify, right? Center. Okay, so now, okay, let me hide this. So now you can see that it is appearing very nicely on the center. Okay, is this clear?
Yes, sir. Is there any IDE which I can intuitively design, and the coding and CSS can be automatically done in the background? Like if I stretch and scale the image, rather than going and adjusting the value, is there any way that the coding
That is,
can be
see,
automated?
that you can do with automatic code generators. All right, that is not what we are trying to understand here, because see, in automatic code generators you will not get how these things are happening. Okay, that is out of scope of Mad1 course.
Okay, okay.
Right,
Then
Mad1 course
do we need
is,
to yeah, I understand, sir. Yeah, so this is academic purpose. We need to learn how actually all
right.
the coding is done.
Yes.
Okay, now do I need to worry about the browser when I'm using the styling? Is that all the styling is what do you call, working in all the browsers?
Yes, yes, yes. Generally, the modern browsers nowadays will show the styling in exactly the same way. So you don't have to worry about browsers.
Okay.
And so the mobile screen, will it adjust the font size accordingly?
To some extent. Okay, you cannot directly jump onto mobile screen, right? If I mean, see, browsers are responsive, so they make the content responsive. They render the correct content in a responsive way. But directly, see, the image and everything cannot be handled that easily, right? So maybe the text will, but if you, and this is a very simple text, right? What if I want to arrange things beside the other? All right, so in that case it becomes very tough for something that is designed for laptop to come directly onto the mobile screen.
Yes, like a newspaper or a tabloid.
Yeah,
There will
yeah,
be different columns.
right, yes. So in that case, what will happen? How, I mean, you will have to define rule whether the things that are beside should collapse or go one below the other, or shrink. All those things have to be defined. All right, so there is only so much a browser can do, right? Therefore, Okay, now we are done with most of the styling. The things
So
look
one more
better
doubt,
now.
sir.
Yeah, go ahead.
So suppose if I'm designing a website, I might have a common style for all the pages in my website. Then also I might have a specific style for specific each pages also. So can I have multiple styles for an HTML
Yeah,
thing?
definitely. Yes. See, so what is, I think we have come across these terms of external styling, internal styling, and inline styling, right? So whichever styling is common to, let's say, 5 pages you have, and there is a piece of style that is common to all the pages. So you will use an external file. Where is our external file? This one. Okay. But
Okay.
if there is certain style that is only common to this page, what will you do? You go to head tag and write everything in the style tag.
Okay. Still,
This
I
is
can have only one CSS in one for one HTML.
Yeah, you can anyway have 5 HTML files, 5 CSS file, but there are
No,
certain
I
things
mean to
which
say
are
that.
common.
No, I mean to say that like okay, CSS cascading, right? So even if I have multiple CSS assigned, it should actually cascade, right?
Yeah. That's what there is a precedence rule. It will follow what is there within the document, all right, within the element, and then go outside. Okay. So for example,
Okay.
if this particular HTML is to get style from an external document, an internal document, and within the tag itself, it will first take the style given in the tag, which is called as inline styling. Then it will move on to this. If for some reason I deactivate the inline styling, then it will take styling from internal for the same element. Then if I deactivate internal, then it will take from external. Okay, so this is called precedence rule for embedding styling. All right, and that is the 3 things that we have, I think, seen in the last lecture also, activity practice. Okay, so there was one example given to understand these 3 types of styling. Okay, currently we only have one page, so we are focusing on only one external styling file. All right, I could have done everything within this style tag which I just mentioned, right? But see, if later on, if this page goes into, let's say, 100 codes of line, 100 lines of code, the entire document, HTML document, will become bulky, where the head tag will have 100 CSS code, and then it is going into HTML, right? So that is something that we're trying to avoid. We want to make files which are easily readable. So it's better to have an external for some elements, for some smaller style change which are very specific to that page. We might use style tag. Okay, so I hope this is understood.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yes, sir. So,
Yeah, somebody needs other.
yeah, so I have a question. Like in a complex document, there can be several divs. Now, since the IDs are unique to each of the div tags, so is there any any naming convention that we can follow, like to get that uniqueness for the divs?
See, exactly, there is no convention, but the whole idea is to keep the names intuitive, right? Had there been convention, how to decide, right? Because every document will have different structure, and same appearing, same looking document can be created with different structures also. So you don't need to have, I don't think having a naming convention will work here, but the ability to keep intuitive names is will work here. Okay, and then there are things, right? For example, if I want changes to happen to these 3 paragraphs altogether, okay, I will not individually I give IDs to this particular paragraph. What I can do is give them class. Okay, so I hope you understand this difference, right? When I want to uniquely identify a particular student, he or she has a roll number. Okay, but when I identify group of students with same characteristics, they are put into same class. All right, so same thing goes with CSS. For example, I'll just show you very quickly. For example, suppose I want these 2 paragraphs, paragraph 1 and paragraph 2, only to get color red. Okay. And this paragraph, I don't want to get any color. What I can do, I can individually go to these paragraphs and color them. Very easy. But what if there are 100 paragraphs and I want to color 50 of them and I don't want to color 50 of them? So what will I do? Will I give styling for all paragraph? That is not possible, because if you give styling to all paragraph, it will be applied to all the paragraphs, 100. All right. Other thing is, if I give ID to 50 paragraphs, Is that possible to give different ID to 50 paragraphs? Again, it is, possible meaning hard to implement. All right. Then there is a class. So what is class doing here? I will give class equals to color. Okay, class color. This same class I will provide to this paragraph also. Class color. All right. Now what does this class mean? That these two paragraphs share something in common. That is, they are into color. So what I'll do, I'll go to style. I'll go colored, COLOURED. Okay, and give them color red. Okay. Again, what is the problem here? See what is happening here. Colored. The CSS is trying to consider this to be a element. So how do I make sure that the CSS understand that it is a class? I give a dot. Okay, which is very similar to how I identified, or how CSS identified this to be a ID, right? So the moment I give dot, see it says element class color. The moment I give hash, it understand, okay, element ID foot. If nothing is given, it understand, okay, this is a defined element. So the moment I save this, what happens is the only first two paragraphs are getting that color red. Okay, and even the third paragraph, being a paragraph, is kept out. Okay, so there are things that you want to do on individual basis, there are things you want to do on group basis, and there are things that you want to do as a whole. So this is where element, class, and IDs come into picture. Yeah.
Sir, what is the difference between this class and element thing? If I use, ID itself instead of class, and I give ID for each paragraph as 1, 2, 3, and then I can do this, right?
That you can do, but then styling, then again for styling also you have to give ID1, ID2, ID3. Here I have
So
just
for
done
this,
once, and it is applied to all the things.
You have to write then
but
50
how
lines
have
of
you
ID.
separated the paragraphs? There are 3 paragraphs, so
So I
how?
have given class only to 2 paragraphs, not the third one.
Oh, okay. Okay. Got it.
Right?
And so this class can be only applied
idea has to
same
be
type
the
of.
truth, and class can be the
See,
group.
7th standard class will have 100 students, right? So yes, class can be given to multiple elements. ID has to be unique.
Okay, I just confirming, sir. Thank you.
Yeah.
So
Understood.
multiple type of elements is possible. For example, can I assign the same class for
Definitely.
H1? Yeah.
Definitely, yes.
Then one more, sir, the search engine. Okay, which tags? Suppose we want to list the search engine to pick up our website. Do we need to use specific tags?
We didn't get your question. What exactly?
Like because one of the lecture it is mentioned that the HTML tag depends on the tag where we use. It can be picked up by the search engine, or the data can be extracted from the website. So is there any specific tags where we can that's supposed to be searched picked up that by the search engine, or something which we don't want search engine to look for?
No, see, generally the search engines and everything. I mean, we did not go into that search engine part, but generally what happens is, I gave this example, right? Copyright. Okay, so you want the search engine to escape, understand that it is only text, not the tag. Okay, did you get? I mean, am I correctly understanding your question?
Yeah, okay. The whole, okay, for example, this document, what is the intent of this whole document? How do a search engine understand from which tag?
See, the search engine will not understand from a tag, but it will understand from the complete element. See, what happens is, when you search for any particular thing on the web, the search engine returns an HTML file, not a particular tag. All right. So I mean, how search engine works exactly, how it searches for particular element, not exactly element, but the content from what to be shown, is something that is a processor, a server thing. Okay, for example, if I want to, this is a document on AI, artificial intelligence, right? So, and if I'm going to search engine and writing artificial intelligence, what is the chances that this gets selected, is what you're asking, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so that is something that the server decides. Okay, so what will server do? Let's say I save this file and currently this data is static, right?
Yeah.
But in most cases the data does not remain static, it becomes dynamic and it comes from the database. Okay, so what will my server do? It will look for that keyword into the content in the database, whichever whichever content is satisfying that keyword, and coming back the HTML file with respect to that will be returned. Okay, it is something that is related to backend. Okay, static files do not have that much capability to get served. Our server that also we have created is very pretty simple. It only takes the file, serves it. Okay, it will not give me artificial intelligence. This file will not be given to me if I search in any search engine for now, because this data is not there in the database. This data is a static data, and this will be available only with this URL. It is fixed with this URL. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Sir, just a question related to this. Does the search engine optimization deal with this kind of stuff?
Search engine optimization deal with what?
Like the stuffs that you mentioned, like bringing a page, like which will be showed and which will not be showed in the first page that Google is showing or something like that.
See, that also depends on, everything is dependent on the data, the database. Okay, search engine is not going into the pages, it is going into the database and it is looking from the content from there. All right, so if there is any optimization, everything that has to be done on the server end. We can do nothing on the HTML end. Okay, so HTML is just a part of front end that is served by the server, that's all. Okay, we have at this point we are not able to create that complex application. For example, later on when we go into week 5 and everything, we should be able to query the database, right? So when we query the database, it will return write files from the database and serve it to us. Okay, currently we are only serving a static file. Okay, so let's move on to it one by one. Okay, I mean step by step. Okay, so what search engines do is, for example, Google search engine. Google search engine is not searching for a particular page or HTML document. It is searching for the keywords that we put in, right? The keywords are searched into the database. Any file that is matching with that keyword will be fetched and shown. Okay, now how does it show? For example, when I write Facebook, why does it always show directly the site of Facebook? That depends on how many visits it has got, right? For example, a Facebook actual site has definitely may have gotten billions of visits rather than the clones of Facebook. So definitely you'll get Facebook first. So that optimization is done at the server end. Okay, am I trying?
Yeah, like
Yes.
For example, HTML files, instead of B, the tag B for bold, we are asked to use strong, the tag strong instead of B. So is that what is the purpose of actually doing that?
See, the thing is, bold is very specific. For example, I want to make, what is bold doing exactly? Tell me.
Just a graphical
No, see,
representation.
bold is telling, for example, when you write something and bold something, when you write something and underline something, what do you want to say? You are emphasizing on that particular word. It shows emphasis. To focus on this word is what you're trying to say.
Yeah, now my question is that, okay, now we are changing from B to strong.
Yes.
And this help who? Who will get the help? Benefit from this?
Right. I'm coming to that. All right. So currently what bold means, okay, this is something of importance, focus on this. Okay. But in your case, that is your perspective, right? When you bold something, that must be important for you. For me, it should be something else. If it is colored in red, then only I'll consider it as importance. Right? For somebody else, if it is italics, then only that person will consider it as importance. Okay. Are you getting the definition of something being important is different for different people? All right. So will bold be sufficient to put that, bring out that information? No. Right. Rather, what you do, make it strong. What does strong means? Okay, something with emphasis. Now, what are the rules for that, for an element being strong? can be defined at every user basis. That is the difference between descriptive and presentational markup. Are you getting? So the interpretation of an information is different for different people, right? So you need to put everyone on the same scale, right? The idea of bold is to make something of more emphasis importance. Okay, but making something bold might means nothing to somebody else, right? But making something bold might mean, okay, this is important to somebody else. So how do you make that context? How do you bring that context to everyone? You make more generic tag that is called as strong. All right. Now I can change the definition of strong, which initially or which generally which makes the content bold. It will not make it bold. It will color it red. Okay, maybe it will make it underline. So the meaning of strong is not defined, which is good thing, which makes it generic. But meaning of bold is defined, which makes the content bold, which may or may not, the document, a bold document may or may not represent everything. I mean, explains everything to its users. Are you getting that thing?
Yeah, okay. Okay, yeah, that's clear. Now that the purpose of doing this is only for the presentation, or this one, the strong will help for some, because it is having some semantics, right? So we are giving some information in that, because that needs to be emphasized. Okay, so this information is used in for any other purpose other than representation, graphical representation.
Yeah, right. So graphical representation is one part of it just. Okay. Therefore, I mean, everything that is graphically represented is just a presentational markup. But everything that carries the meaning with it, okay, and is not only confined to presentation, is the descriptive markup. Okay, that is what we are trying to do here. I mean, when we go into more different, models, go into more details of designing, then we'll understand that, okay, by making bold something intuitively does not give the right image always, right? Okay,
So I have a
fine.
question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Like in the margin or the borders, there is two things. Like one can be percent or one can be pixels. So which one, like when to use? Like, is there any like?
See, it's completely a design aspect. For example, if this application will always be used in this machine or a machine that is very similar to this screen size. Okay, so what is 1 pixel here will be 1 pixel in every other size. Okay, but what if the size of the screen keeps on changing? Then it will be better to give percentage, right? For example, if I want this particular image to be 50% of my screen, then doesn't matter what is the screen size. Every time the screen size changes, the size of the image will be 50%. But when I specify 50 pixel, then doesn't matter what is the size of screen, it will be 50 pixel only. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Right. So it depends. The more you do, I mean, the more you go into designing, the more it understands that whether to use percentage, whether to use pixel. There are more things. There are VH, VW, right? EMP, 2MP, 3MP, all those things are there, right? So it depends on what is the scenario. Okay. So one of the example I've given you, right? I want image to be 50% of the total size always, right? So it doesn't matter. So even if you open that image in the phone, it will take 50% of your phone size. Okay. But when I say 50 pixel, what if my phone has only 25 pixel screen? It is highly impractical, but okay. Let's say I have a 25 pixel screen. What will happen? I'll have to scroll through the same image to see the entire image.
Okay. Yeah.
Getting no? Yeah. Okay. So with that, with this, we are done with most of the styling. Okay. So we have arranged it. Okay. At this point, it is. Now, is this only the CSS? No. There is a lot of things that can be done. We can change the font. All right. We can change the background images. We can change the background of it, and everything will be given. I mean, here, right? So here, for example, I select, let's say, the top level div. Okay, and I give a background color. So I want a very light, something like this background color on the background. So what will I do? I'll just give a background color and see that the thing is appearing, right? Okay, if I want to make this heading a bit darker, so what will I do? I go to, okay, so header has a different thing, right? So at this point, okay, let's do the header and footer darker. So what I'll do, header background color, make it darker. So let's say this, I think it is comparatively darker than highly, I mean, very hardly visible. But okay, let me, but if see, I don't know what should be the name of color that is slightly darker than this, right? So what you can do is, you can see this color pad, right? So you, when you hover on it, it shows you the change in color, right? So you can then go into it and then make it darker, whatever you want. Okay, and then that bisque is no longer the name, right? It will become something that has no name because you cannot name every color, right? So it will become, it will take the RGB value and it will take that color only, right? So now it is becoming quite better to readable, I mean distinguishable, right? This is darker, this is lighter. All right, so even the footer is appearing here. Okay, and you can see this, I have used header here also, here use header here also. So you can use multiple times, no issues with that, but you can see that the styling provided to header and content is different, and the styling provided to header and footer is different. And I did not want this background color to appear for content also, therefore I use it differently. Okay, so this is how you color and everything, and I mean there are a lot of things that you can do, positioning, things like that. All right, so there is no stopping in CSS, just what you need to do is basic HTML creation and alignment that you need to know. All right, there is one thing that we have not covered in today's session in HTML is forms. Okay, and we'll cover forms when there is actually a need of form. Okay, with that we will be very easily able to get data from the form and process it. Okay, this will be done when we use uh, templates, right? Templates, and we have some introduction of what Flask is. See, because what is happening, this is just a see only or view only file, right? Form is where you interact, right? This means whatever information you are putting in into the form has to be processed at the backend, and for something to get processed at the backend you need a backend, right? So form in wider or greater sense will be introduced when we initialize or start off with Flask. All right, so we'll have to wait for the forms for that. Yeah, somebody raised hand.
Yes, sir. Table also are not covered. So, if you want to, someone asked initially, if you want to split vertically, which is the tag we should use, the table or is there anything else?
Split vertically, right? So there is something called as display. Okay, what I'll do is, so there are this artificial intelligence, right? So what I want is I will do these appearing one beside the other.
Okay.
Okay, currently they are one below the other, but I'll make it one beside the other. So what will I do is, okay, let me show it through this only. Developer tools, okay? So this is visible, right? So what I'll do, I'll select the one of the p tag. Okay, now currently there is something called as display. How should the tag be displayed? Okay, when the display is blocked, the element will block the entire horizontal place, whatever space is there provided by its parent. Okay, so p is within the div tag, so div is the parent. Okay, what is the width of div we have given? 1000 pixel. So p will take the entire width, that is 1000 pixel, including the padding and everything. All right, so p is taking that entire width. Okay, why? Because the default display of p is block. Okay, what I want is that the p should not take that default display. So for that I need to change its display to something called as inline block. Okay, inline block. So currently we see that there is no change happened, but what has happened is the display has become inline block. When the display becomes inline block, what we can do is we can give width to it. Width, all right. When it is block, okay, let me just repeat. When it is block, it will take the entire width of its parent. It will inherit the width. We by ourselves cannot give width if the display is block. But if the display is, what we call, the display is set to inline block, we can give certain width to it. Okay, so now what I'll do is I'll give a width. Let us start with some random width, let's say 400 pixel. Again, I'm doing a random width, right? So you can see that the width is coming 400, but now I'm sure with this 400 width, I cannot accommodate all the 3 paragraphs, right? So I'll reduce it more so that I feel that it will be managing all the 3. Okay, so I think 293 pixels should be okay. All right, and this change should happen with all the p tags, right? So what will I do? I'll copy this complete tags and go back to my style and select p, because I know there is only p tag, or I already have p, right? So I'll add it here. Okay, so the width displays inline block and the width is 293 pixel. Okay, so now you can see that they are appearing side by side. Okay, yeah, so I mean we are yet to adjust the height of each, but I hope you understood the width. Now let us separate them. Yeah, tell me.
No, sir. Okay.
I'll just separate them with some margin. Okay, right margin. So I'm not sure that the margin is correct. Let me just reload this. So I can see that the margin is appearing. I will make it proper so that it appears on the right. So 14 pixel is the right margin. 14 pixel. Right, so you can see that the 3 divs that were appearing on the one below the other are now side by side. Okay, now don't worry about this top space on this. We'll have to do more styling to get that thing up. But this is what this is how we put everything vertically aligned. So you can see that the display is changing, but the elements are same. All right, the elements are still div. They still have that ID and everything. Or the P has remained P, but the way it is displayed will be shown here. Okay, will depend on how how do we want it to get displayed. Okay.
Okay, clear, sir.
Okay, let me try to give it a height of, let's say, 200 pixel. Okay, so I need to make certain changes for them to appear in single line. So let us not go into intricacies. I hope you understood what you asked. Okay, same thing appearing vertical. So it depends on display. All right, so this is I think probably what I wanted to give today. Right, so you can build up on this. All right, I hope some of you have clearly followed this. I mean, even the coding and everything that you have been doing along with me. But if you have not followed, just watch this lecture again. All right, and then you can build up on it. Right, now you know basically how to adjust certain things one below the other or on one beside the other, and then now you can give more border, we can give more styling to it. Okay, is this clear?
Yes, sir. So you can use the same technique to appear text after the image, right? Like besides the image.
Yes, same thing can be. Yeah. Okay, so this is what I wanted to give. I think I will stop at this point. If there are any queries, let me know. Okay, I will be sharing this entire code in the Solve with Instructor source code within the supplementary content. Okay, for you to refer later. I mean, the complete, right? I haven't been following. Yes, you're audible.
So regarding lab assignment, I have some issues while submitting it.
Yeah, go ahead. I think, see, you can just rewatch this lecture's initial part of it only. So you don't have to go through the entire thing. But initial part of this lecture, we have tried to cover some issues on lab assignment. Okay. If you feel that the same issues you are getting, maybe that will help. Okay. If there are any other issues apart from this, you can put it on Discourse. We'll try to help you there.
Okay, so thank you.
So for HTML and CSS, do I need to go through any other videos or anything, or this is enough for the course?
No. See, this is definitely not enough. We will be, but see, this is not the only thing we'll be learning in HTML, right? As far as HTML is concerned, yeah, this should be enough. See, because you have covered table in your, not the table exactly. Yeah, yes, you have covered a part of table. That is, you will be getting some idea of table from your lab assignment, right? the other required elements I've tried to take today. And there is one more thing called as form, where you interact with the web page, that we will take. Okay, you don't have to take it from outside. As far as HTML is concerned, this is okay. All right, you don't need to go anything out of it. As far as CSS is concerned, I mean, there is no limit as to what can be taught, right? How can we style certain things? Okay, so at this point, if you are able to, align certain things here and there, understand the concept of box model, basically, you understand what is there mentioned in the question statement, right? Box model, block and display and things like that. That should be sufficient. All right, because we don't focus on aesthetics of the page or any application that we're creating throughout the course.
Okay, thank you, sir.
All right, now this is the static HTML, right? We will move on to dynamic HTML and we will tell you how to do it, right? So we'll give you comprehensive, the live sessions that we take will be comprehensive enough. The screencast will be comprehensive enough to understand what exactly is switching to, dynamic web pages.
So is there any online documentation or source of CSS which we can follow if we get stuck somewhere or some code?
Yeah, so I've given MDN web docs, right?
Okay.
MDN web docs has CSS. It has HTML, CSS, and JavaScript all quite in detail.
Okay.
So it will give you not only the syntax but some preview also.
Okay.
Yes, Rahul.
Yes, sir. Sir, I want to ask that in lab assignments, it has been mentioned to not use CSS.
Yes.
Then, along with HTML, so many attributes comes. So we can use attributes as many as we want.
See, attributes you can, the tags you cannot. Element that we have given in the frequency table of the,
Only I am concerned about the attributes.
But
Attributes we
for
can
which
use.
assignment are you talking for this? For which assignment is it?
Lab assignments.
No, I understand lab assignment, but HTML or CSS?
Sir, only HTML.
So only HTML, why are you worried about CSS? I mean, attributes. Whatever are the default attributes of HTML tags should be sufficient to get you done with the this thing. Okay. Now, this is one general, comment that you don't have to worry about borders of the table. Okay. If by any chance you have not, by default, the borders don't come with the table, right? So if they're not coming, leave it. You don't have to worry about it.
Okay, sir.
Okay, I understand the attributes for HTML is related to borders, but that is something I don't have to worry about. Because you have seen in today's session that it can be very easily done using CSS. So why to worry about HTML attributes?
Okay, sir, got it.
Okay, 100% of viewport width or window. 100% of window. Okay, for viewport we have specifically the unit that is viewport, that is WH and VH and VW, right? So it will be 100% of window. Okay, fine. So is that all? If there is any, if there are no doubts, we'll close this session. I hope this was helpful. Go through it once again, and you can do it from your end to add more CSS. Okay.
So really, it's a very helpful session. Thanks a lot for this.
Okay, thanks everyone. Thanks for joining. We'll close it here. Okay.
Thank you, sir.